little bit of a quick entrance theme today because it is a long episode today. Welcome to the Meta Lab. We're live. I am joined this week by the beautiful Mr. Mike White.
Hello.
The Jay.
Yeah, thanks.
And the wonderful warm feeling we got from going out to Eternal Games this weekend. We're not gonna go in depth on it, but mostly because I think when I say this, I speak for Jay, Tom, and everybody who was there. That was absolutely delightful to see 42 players show up at Eternal Games on Saturday, February 2nd, in order to just help out the community. It was all a charity event. The store opened up their own hearts and wallets and helped raise it with 42 people, and the store's help $1,700 for the family of Braylon Chang. So it was a fantastic outreach of the community, and it was wonderful to be a part of that. And it was great to see everybody open up their hearts and their wallets in other cases for it. So once again, thanks for everybody who was there hosting it, helped organize it. Thank you very much for the store, and thank you guys in the community, the 42 other players who were there to help make this such a big part of the community. It was awesome. But we have to cover this in brief because today is that day. Today we do die and go with Earth X piece by piece. So take a good look at our faces one last time because this is the last you're going to see it as we go over to HC Realms. We're taking our information from the HC Realms rumors thread because the HC Realms unit section hasn't been fully updated yet. So Jay, if you notice anything that might have been missed or know of anything that might have been missed, just mention it as we get to the piece.
I think it's a couple random range values being 0, but I'll say at the time.
All right, cool. So here we are, HC Realms. We're going to start with figure number 001A, the Spider-Girl. May Parker, Spider-Man is her team ability. 5 range, 2 targets, 50 points, new warrior, Spider-Man family, Young Avengers keywords. So what you see is what you get. Dial with some close combat expert and some incapacitate. Improved movement, ignores elevated and hindering terrain. It's just a very meh figure to me. I don't know. Mike, anything you want to add there?
No, not meta. Something maybe I would play to fill in some points on a theme team because the values aren't bad except for that sort of low damage. Yeah, meh.
All right, and Jay?
I think the only thing she sees even close to competitive play is sealed wildcard handing out 11s with Sinister Syndicate.
Yeah. All right. So next up we have the Venom Prime, figure number 001B. This is real name May Parker, no team ability, 5 range, 70 points, Earth X, Spider-Man family, monster, and police keywords. She's got a special, she's ignores elevated and hindering terrain for movement. She's got the alien symbiote trait, which is plasticity, shape change, and automatically breaks away. Special attack power on her first 2 and last 2 clicks, in total control of the symbiote. Incapacitate, when Venom uses it, after resolution is given action token to each other opposing character within 2 squares in line of fire of a hit target. A special defense power, which she has on her middle 2 clicks. Murdoch's training, lets me find you. Super senses, Venom and adjacent friendly characters can use ignore hindering for targeting. Mike, what do you think of Venom?
I actually like the figure. I think there's a lot of good stuff that's going on there. Both the late dial defense power that gives people the improved targeting. Definitely, I love that incap power because you don't have to roll high enough to hit any of the other targets, which aren't targets, but you know what I'm saying. And they're actually 2 squares in line of fire of the hit target, not of her. So they could actually be people behind this person. Great way to get a crowd and mess with a crowd. Potentially pogs that have tokens. You could take out a whole bunch of them when they push. She's got Monster. Monster, I think, is a hotness right now. Again, we already know about Captain Venom. We'll talk about that later. Figure, I think it's definitely has possibility in the meta. Definitely something you want to look at if you pull in sealed, and definitely something you could have fun playing on a Spider-Man family team.
All right, Jay, anything to add?
I like that her secondary token thing doesn't care about Battle Fury because normally you can't target with Incap, but that is not Incapacitate, so that is a cool thing.
Yep.
And randomly good Golden Age competitive Colin because there's a Venom ID card.
Yep. Yep, everybody covered kind of what I would say about the figure, so we move on next to figure number 002, Silver Sable, real name Silver Sablenova. Spider-Man team ability, 5 range, 50 points, Wild Pack and Soldier keyword. What you see is what you get dialed. That includes 3 clicks of Mastermind, but she's got a trait, I work better with a team. During force construction, choose a named keyword. Silver Sable gains that keyword. Jay, I know you love keyword cheating. What do you think, Silver Sable?
This is a very good sealed play because EarthX is a named keyword. I've played it twice now because she somehow is better than my other options. And for constructed, not an immediate yes, but it's more a figure to have in the toolbox and maybe pull out later just in case there's some really good name theme that is missing the leadership, which is all but a prerequisite these days.
All right. Mike, anything you want to add?
Jay covered it.
Cool. All right. Next up, figure number 3, Lizard. Real name Kurt Connors. Team is Sinister Syndicate team ability, 50 points. Sinister Syndicate, animal, monster, and scientist keyword. What you see is what you get. Dial with a swim symbol. Indomitable. The Sinister Six United trait, which I'm going to read now, and you're going to see on other figures. Stealth, but only if your force has 3 or more characters. Improved movement, ignores hindering, but only if your force has 5 or more characters. Modify all combat values by +1, but only if your force has exactly 6 members. Another trait, cellular regeneration, free if Lizard is on an even click number and has no action tokens. Heal him 1 click. I think this guy excels more in sealed than he does in constructed for sure. And I think he's probably include on some of the Sinister Syndicate teams that may show up from this set. That's my thoughts. What do you think, Mike?
I mostly agree, though I will say that he is one of the ones that has the better chance of utilizing that trait in constructed because of animal and monster keyword.
Yep.
You have a much better chance of filling out your team, with some lower point figures, meanwhile still having a very strong figure. Lizard becomes a great 50-point secondary attacker who can also be a call-in battery because he's indomitable. He'll have the stealth, the bonus to his stats, which then gives him an 18 defense, which is nothing to sneeze at. Free regenning or healing, that is, of 1 token. I think there's definitely some possibilities to him in the constructed realm, the meta realm. Sealed, for sure, you want to look at playing this guy again, especially if you get any other figures and you can make 6. And I love Sinister Syndicate, so I'm going to have fun with Lizard for sure.
Absolutely. Jay, any thoughts?
All the pod generators synergize well with the trait because you keep on popping them out. And as far as competitive, I'm probably only looking at him for Popper, but even then, he's a pretty solid threat there, so he'll have some play going on, I hope.
Yeah, every man he's also going to be pretty good. I think that there's a lot of common Sinister Syndicate guys and Secret Six guys I think will work in conjunction with each other while they still last in the everyman format. All right, next up, Morbius, figure number 4, Michael Morbius, real name, Spider-Man team ability, 60 points, Legion of Monsters, Midnight Suns, monster, and scientist keywords. He's got the Vampiric Hunger trait. Morbius starts the game on click number 3. He has Steel Energy as a trait. When he uses it, he may heal past his starting line. Transvection is his special movement power, which he has on the first 2 clicks that you can heal to, which give him charge, sidestep, and stealth. He does fly. Mike, what do you think of Morbius?
Sealed, I would say possibly consider him just because I haven't seen a ton of outwit in this. I mean, I feel like there's not tons of it, but there's some outwit in this set. But he is a flyer, so it gives you both a taxi and that outwit. But I think he's super soft with that 17 will. You'll be lucky if you ever get to turn him into a vampire. Constructed, no, I'm totally not looking at him. There's so many better things you could do. I think you could. What he's bringing, you could do for less than 60 points, personally, is what I think. Definitely in the monster keyword category. So, no, I would pass on this figure. I think this is one of the worst versions of Morbius, I think, actually, I've ever seen. The first 2 clicks look fantastic. If you can pull it off and somehow get him onto one of those 2 clicks, suddenly this is a fantastic figure for those points. But I just really think the odds of that happening are ridiculously low. 10 attack, 17 defense with nothing to stop you murdering him? Yeah, no.
Yeah, the challenges of getting there. Jay, anything you want to add?
I'm not playing him in sealed, but if I'm playing him in sealed, I'm pretty not happy about it.
Fair enough. All right, next up, we have figure number 5, the Rhino, real name Aleski Sietsevitz. I mangled that. Sinister Syndicate team ability, 50 points. Sinister Syndicate animal and brute keywords. Improved movement, destroys blocking, and obviously goes through it. Sinister Syndicate United trait, and mess with the Rhino, you get the horn, is his other trait that gives him knockback. Jay, what do you think of Rhino?
Probably a decent sealed play. Like super rare and super strong. This is a pretty good common. Picking up a light object for 5 damage is deceptively good. Not easy to deal with in the context of this set. I don't see myself looking at him for constructed, but I'm not unhappy if I see him in my sealed packs.
Yep, I'm on your page there. Mike?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I mean, he gets a little bit of the same benefit that Lizard has with that animal generic or sorry, non-named keyword in the potential of pulling off that trait. But definitely more sealed, not really looking at him constructed. There's better values you can get on somebody. But he's fun, and again, Sinister Syndicate. I'll play him. Fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up we have the Sandman, figure number 6. William Baker, real name. Team is Spider-Man. Team ability, 3 range, 50 points. Avengers, Sinister Syndicate, and Wild Pack keywords. Pretty colorful. What you see is what you get. Dial with the Sinister 6 United trait. And the Shifting Sands trait, which is free. If Sandman has no action tokens, choose a standard power printed on this card. That he can't use already, he can use that power until your next turn. I like him for sealed. Not big on him for constructed. Like, it's neat the ability to pick a power, but the powers that you can pick aren't really super fancy. They're really kind of what you expect. You know, when you have to charge one, go for the flurry, or just add the flurry whenever you need it. I don't see a lot of excitement outside of sealed for this guy. But Mike, what do you think?
He's neat.
Neat. Jay?
Yeah, this is another common I wouldn't be that upset about playing because his essential charge swing of 7 top dial is good. Potentially having a stealth 20 defense, double rollouts is good. It's all pretty much acceptable enough for sealed, I guess you could say.
All right. Next up, we have the Tinkerer. Real name Phineas Mason. Team is the Sinister Syndicate. Team ability, 4 range, 30 points. Massive Evil, Sinister Syndicate, and Scientist keywords. He's got a special move, special damage power on his first 2 clicks, Empower and Enhancement. Also has power, generate a standard, light, or heavy object. And that goes to Mike. Mike, what do you think of Tinkerer?
I mean, he's okay. Like in sealed, I don't know, man. I've actually pulled him a couple times in sealed, and usually there's something better that I've pulled in that point zone because the empowerment usually figures in this set that are in that point. I've just found better uses for. One thing to consider for him, part of that power action to generate at a team of things like walking woods and stuff to suddenly be popping out light objects for them to pick up and walk forward with. So that's nice. I like the potential of that. And again, with a Scientist key help, he does. What is nice about him is having Sinister Syndicate and being 30 points, being able to fit onto a Sinister Syndicate team, other guys, and then still having points left for ID cards. So it does, in a small, slim way, I think, make him a possibility to look at in constructed, but not really. I mean, like, again, I think there's better 30 points that you could spend in this category. But he's a neat figure, and 18 defense on the Tinkerer. What's that about?
Wait, what were they doing there? Jay, what else do you want to add there, Jay?
He's probably fine for sealed, although he doesn't necessarily synergize well with a theme. But I guess if you're not themed anyway, he's a pretty decent addition. Not that easy to kill. I'm not saying yes to constructed, but I wouldn't say no either, just depending on what kind of pit crew you need and how the general environment looks.
Mm-hmm. I would say if you have a team that finds a way of needing extra objects, he's the guy to use. But it's like a strictly you need that to happen sort of situation. All right, next up we have the Volturian. Very simple character, 20 points. Magia, Masters of Evil, Sinister Syndicate keywords, fly, sidestep, incapacitate. I mean, this is sealed taxi. Everywhere else, we're probably not going to see him, right?
Again, because of Sinister Syndicate keyword and potentially wanting to fill in points to get 6 figures to activate the trait and still have points left to be able to put ID cards. Because one of the things I've noticed with a lot of the Sinister Syndicate guys, the nicer ones, they're like 50 points.
Yeah.
right? So you can't get 6 on a 300-point team and still have room for things like equipment or ID cards, because 6 guys have 50 points each. So there is something to be said for a 20-point taxi for someone like the Lizard or Rhino to get moved up, or even Sandman, right? Because we've already looked at Sandman as being, he can pick defensive stuff to start. So I think there is a small window of possibility for him in terms of that limited Sinister Syndicate keyword building environment.
I think it's also a post-Overdrive world.
Yes, definitely. 100% post-Overdrive world. Like, why would you ever be looking at this guy before looking at Overdrive for Sinister Syndicate? Like, come on.
Jay?
Come on!
Yeah, you're probably using it as a steel taxi if you don't otherwise have theme constructed, if those keywords are good. Pretty much what Mike said. I wish that the ink cap was more useful, but with just sidestep, it's not really going to happen unless you really force it in a weird situation.
Okay. Next up, we have the Police Sergeant. Police team ability, 4 range, 30 points, Earth X, and police keywords. Charge, incapacitate. He's got special damage power, detain, and restrain. Empower. Adjacent opposing characters have breakaway -1. Mike, what do you think of the Police Sergeant? I'm all out of order. I'm going to get back into order here.
That's okay. I feel very meh. Like, nothing screams at me as being that exciting or useful. Really filling in points, maybe, in sealed. Definitely, I'm not looking at him for any reason in constructed. I can't imagine. I must be missing something if someone thinks that this is a figure that they're using in that. So, all power to them. Yeah.
Jay?
No interest.
As far as the police meta goes, there are other generics that I like more, like the Harley Quinn set police officer, and obviously there's a lot of Earth X, so there's just a lot of other better options. There's not necessarily a problem with this style. But in sealed, he's not easy to one-shot, so if you have to play him, you never know. Police team ability's good.
All right, next up we have the Hydra. 20 points, Earth X and Hydra keywords. This one's a close combat focused one with some sidestep, super strength, exploit weakness, which later becomes plasticity, close combat expert, willpower across the board. But the important part on these Hydra guys is the share through the hive mind. Unique modifier, friendly characters within 6 squares with the Hydra keyword. Modify attack +1 when making a close attack. Jay, what do you think of the close combat Hydra guy?
I think I played him in sealed twice now, and he always delivered. Willpower for theme prob is good. Being just long enough to not generally get one shot and then end up on plasticity is good. 11 attack on a generic 20-point combat is good, and the fact that he can chuck heavy objects. And also the exploit, although it doesn't combo with super strength anymore, is still theoretically good randomly.
Okay, Mike, anything to add?
Just that as you guys know, like Hydra, love Hydra as a keyword. I'm excited to play a bunch of these guys in the Golden Age environment. I think I'm gonna have a ton of fun, especially in larger builds. Oh, dude, I'm gonna have so much grossness. The super rare Red Skull from that Avengers set is so excited for so much Hydra. So I just have to add that in. I'm excited for that.
Fair enough. All right, next up we have the range-focused one. The Hydra, 25 points, 4 range, Earth X, and Hydra. Very similar, except we have incapacity here instead of exploit weakness, which turns into range combat expert instead of close combat expert. Share through the hive mind as friendly characters in 6 squares with the Hydra keyword. Modify attack +1 while making a range attack. A lot of things Jay said as far as the getting theme prop for your Earth X guys is cool. The late dial range combat expert, if it comes through, it comes through. I mean, 3 damage from a guy out of nowhere is always okay. But making other Hydra guys range better is always, like Mike said, going to be great in a Golden Age Hydra team. What do you think, Mike?
I like them slightly less than the close combat one. I think just something about the super strength and that willpower potential seems slightly better, again, for 5 points less. But this one pairs much better with that super rare Red Skull because he's making lots of ranged attacks. So, Hail Hydra.
Jay, anything to add?
Yeah, I don't even think I would want to play it in sealed unless it's like literally my only option. I did play it yesterday, and it just kind of ended up being just mastermind fodder because I had Sable, but it was pretty meh.
All right. Next up, we have Red Union Jack. 5 range, 30 points, Earth X Excalibur Soldier. Stiff Upper Lip is the first trait. When Red Union Jack is damaged by an opponent's attack, after resolutions, remove an action token from him. Special damage or attack power, Dragonfire, Incendiary, Grenade Launcher, Energy Explosion. When Red Union Jack uses it, damage dealt to each target is increased by 1. Mike, what do you think of this guy? I know you have really good thoughts about this guy.
Oh, yeah, I like this guy. He played so well for me in Sealed. He was wrecking stuff, especially at 30 points. Even better if you've got the Blue Union Jack, which we'll see down the line, paired up with him, and you manage to roll leadership. Things are going to be good times for you. Definitely solid figure. You definitely want to look at putting him on your team in Sealed. Again, for 30 points, and he can wreck a crowd. And the way that the figures are in this set, there's definitely going to be people who are going to get wrecked, and they're going to be staying in crowds. So you definitely want to look at him. And I like Earth X as a keyword, so I have to consider him as a possibility in the constructed environment just because of his lower points. I may be trying to fill in some points. He doesn't bring a lot to the table, and that 17 defense isn't optimal. But I can't completely write him out of that possibility.
All right.
But definitely, you got to look at him in Sealed.
Jay, your thoughts?
He's definitely relevant in Sealed on every single click. So they're going to want to deal with him at the beginning of his dial, and then when they see that he's perplexed, as well as sidestep and willpower for theme prob and general team niceness, they will probably want to take him out, and then they've invested probably 2 attacks into him for 30 points. So, yeah. And even if you push randomly, you might take tokens off later and do more theme probbing or whatever. So, constructed not so much necessarily, but Sealed. I don't think you put him on your team right away necessarily, but like he's the second thing you put on after you put your really good stuff.
Yeah,
Totally.
All right, next up, the Spiders Man.
Spiders Man.
4 range, 30 points, Earth X, Animal Monster keywords. Sidestep across the board, special attack power, the Web of Illusions. When Spiders Man hits with a range attack, after resolutions, give each hit target an illusion token. Characters with illusion tokens can't be given free actions. At the beginning of your turn, remove all illusion tokens. Jay, Spiders Man.
This is another common that you're probably throwing on a team if you don't have that pulls that are that great. The power is not as good as it looks because of his short threat range, and he is really easy to take out. Like, you're not playing him if you're happy with your pulls.
Mike?
Well, here's what's funny. I find him actually getting played a fair amount, mostly because people end up building an Earth X theme team. He's low enough points to fit on there, and then you push him to get to the perplex. Really. Like, that attack power is pretty much useless. I think I've seen one person pull it off in one game, and it really hasn't made much point to it. But I think that's really all. And Sealed is be like, am I making an Earth X theme team? Great, I can fit him on here. Let's push him on a perplex. That's what you do with him. Meta constructed? No. Why?
Yeah, no.
I genuinely don't know why. Like, in what? There's at least 10 other figures at 30 points with monster or animal keyword that you would be using over this guy. And Earth X, well, we just went past one who's 30 points with Earth X that I would pick over Spider-Earth Man. Spider-Earth Man.
That would be right.
So no. Like, he's such a huge pass figure.
Yeah. When you're desperate for perplex, that's why he's on your team.
That's why he's on your team.
Yeah. All right, next up, figure number 14, Black Panther, T'Challa real name, 90 points, Earth X Wakanda Animal Ruler keyword. He's got a trait, Panther in title and form, Blades, Claws, Fangs, and Stealth are both part of traits. Special defense power on his first 2 clicks, combat reflexes, super senses, and willpower. He's got a special damage power on his first 3 clicks. The mantle of the Panther is that of a king. Leadership outwit. When Black Panther uses leadership and the result is 6, you may instead remove all action tokens from the chosen character and modify its attack +1 this turn. So yeah, honestly, Sealed, this guy's great for 90 points. You get a really good leadership that could possibly be better than leadership with also some outwit. Traded Stealth and Blades Claws, so if you don't like the damage output you're doing or you need to take that risk on the high damage, you got at least a minimum too, so on the clicks that he has that. Precision Strike to go with it to get around. Super Senses is Solid combat reflex and super senses, so when you eventually do get to close combat, he's pretty cool. My only big beef, and I feel like it's either, my only big beef is that he doesn't ignore hindering for movement. So like he doesn't really charge all that well with his first 3 clicks out of the hindering. So you're really trying to. It's the thing that makes him.
He does.
He does have it. Okay, cool, awesome. Ignore everything I just said. Then he's amazing.
I played him multiple times now in sealed. I've pulled him in all the sealed events I've had, and yes, he is fantastic, and he does have improved movement. Ignores hindering, ignores elevated.
You know, I have the cards. Yeah, ignores hindering and ignores elevated. So that's missing on this one. So I have it here actually in my hand now because I realized the cards are right in front of me and I should have just checked. So ignore what I just said as far as the negative. He's just amazing, worth playing in sealed. That's what I would say, Mike.
Yeah, dude. I mean, traded blades. That means the potential of a 6 damage close combat output on all the clicks of his dial. Right? He never loses blades. I think this is a great figure. You definitely want to look at playing him in sealed. Constructed. I mean, he's nice and outwit and everything, and animal and ruler are all nice stuff. Wakanda forever, but I don't know. I think you're probably looking at other stuff with that point value. 90 points is a bit much to look at using in constructed environment, but I think you really want to look at using him in sealed, especially because of the leadership and the outwit. You know, there's lots of stuff that's susceptible to outwit in this environment. This is a guy who can hide and outwit. You're afraid to get next to him to start because he's got the combat reflexes and super senses, and he's got blades. You want to look at using him in sealed, constructed. No, not really.
Yeah. Anything you want to add there, Jay?
There's next to no good power cosmic in this set. So that outwit's actually pretty useful, and also, I mean, there's a fair amount of stealth that has to be. You would have to get a really good combination of very, very good higher rarity figures to not play this guy. Like, I pulled a super rare, and one till I still played him. Like, I would be surprised if I pulled and didn't play him.
Absolutely. All right, next up, figure number 15, Spider-Man. This is Dadbot Spider-Man. Peter Parker's his real name, Spider-Man ally and police, team abilities, 30 points, Earth X, Spider-Man family, police, and reporter keywords. Everyone has power, so my responsibility is to my daughter is his special movement power in all 4 clicks. Leap climb, when Spider-Man moves after resolutions, you may move a friendly standard character adjacent to a square he moved through. If you do, that player place that character adjacent, and it can't be given a constant action this turn. Mike, thoughts on Dadbot Spider-Man?
Definitely want to look at playing him in sealed. He's popped up a lot. I've seen a bunch of other people play him as well. He actually fits into a lot of builds and has both the Earth X and Spider-Man family keyword, which is possible to build with. His power has been useful for moving people around and positioning them, especially people that can't be carried for whatever reason. You know, because again, he is just boot speed, so it's not like he can actually carry himself. And there are some figures who have Battle Fury in the set, so you're placing, so you don't have to worry about that. Constructed, I would be surprised again because I feel like there's plenty of other stuff for those points that you would be building with, and even in the Spider-Man family keyword zone. So neat figure, kind of fun. Oh, poor Spidey, how you've let yourself go. But I definitely look at potentially using him in sealed.
All right, Jay, thoughts?
Definitely play him in sealed because he has the set, and also just 30-point police and wild card is quite good.
Yeah.
I could see it for constructed. Like his keyword, unless Earth X becomes a thing, his keywords are not really relevant. But as far as just random utility pieces go, I think that he does just enough and is just not easy enough to kill that he won't be a detriment in that way, because your opponent's not going to want to deal with super senses, and also unless I'm playing a very specific team, I don't see a reason to not play that Wakanda bonus, because Blades is everywhere always because of Wolverine. So super senses rerolls are good. So not like S tier meta, but like definitely there's like I can see him being played eventually somewhere somehow.
He's a weird place, we just haven't determined it yet. All right, next up, Karnak to wrap up the commons. Figure number 16, 50 points. Earth X Inhumans martial artist keyword. Terragenesis twice trait, which all the Inhumans have. When a friendly character targets Karnak with Perplex, after resolutions roll a d6. If the result is less than Karnak's click number, modify the chosen value an additional +1. Everyone has weaknesses, is his special attack power in the first 2 clicks. Precision Strike. When Karnak makes an attack, if his target's defense is modified higher than his printed value, it uses his printed defense value. Instead, he's got Perplex on the first 2 clicks, goes to Prob, turns to Perplex again. He's indomitable. Jay. Thoughts on Karnak?
Yeah, for sealed, yeah, I guess he's like your filler for Earth X theme in sealed. In general, Perplex is good. There's enough Perplex, Sinister Six trait, reflexes, all that stuff in sealed that the power will matter. And if you don't have prob, eventually getting it could make or break certain situations, I suppose.
All right. Mike?
Yeah, Jay covered definitely the reasons to play him in sealed. I think he has, again, a small window of potential in the constructed market for someone like me who likes to build with name theme and is looking at the potential of Earth X and or Inhumans and that Terragenesis trait. More for him to help his friends out. Because at 50 points, he fills in as more of a support piece. He can use Perplex. He pairs up nicely with Triton at 75 points. Because then, which we'll see later on, Triton has that Perplex as well, and he has the trait. So both Triton and Karnak could be using Perplex on Triton and potentially have a 33% chance of turning that Perplex into a +2. So I like Karnak for that potential. And I think he's a solid figure for 50 points. You know, I don't think he's bad at all. I like him.
I think he's a solid common as far as one of the better commons, I think, in the set for sealed. Just because he's got the evasion, because he can also add his attacks, and he's got Perplex. I mean, it's a good power to have. Support powers are always infinitely better in sealed, as I like to say. All right, we're moving into uncommons now. We're really zooming here. We got the Jackal. Jackal? Is it a Jackal? Real name Ben Riley. Sinister Syndicate team ability, 75 points. Sinister Syndicate monster and scientist keywords. He's got a trait, your body can be new again for a time. Free, choose an adjacent standard friendly character at 75 points or less. Heal the character, the chosen character 1, 2, or 3 clicks and give them that many generation tokens. Friendly characters with degeneration tokens can't be replaced, and when they take damage after resolutions, remove their degeneration tokens and deal them that much unavoidable damage. Special damage power in his first 2 clicks, new U technologies, outwit, shape change. When Jackal uses outwit, he can target the character with the Spider-Man family keyword regardless of line of fire. I've looked at constructed options for him, and they fail me every time. I feel like he's a get out of jail free if you have to put a lot of eggs in a basket in sealed. But ultimately, I do, in the sealed I have pulled this guy, I did kind of shy away from him. He looked good at first. I liked what he did, but honestly, it's got to be an eggs in your basket sort of situation where you use this guy. That's my thoughts on it. I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
Sealed, I can see potentially again because of the with there being Spider-Man family keyword people in here. His whole not needing to have line of fire for outwit has some potential, and there are lots of figures below 75 points. You know, that he could do his healing thing with. My biggest issue with him is I look at him and I see all that stuff and I think, oh, that's neat. I'd love to try that and I'd like to build with that. Oh, he's 75 points.
Yeah.
So I just immediately go, I can't invest those points in what feels like I'm trying to win the lottery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's situational or something. Like that's really what it is for me. I feel like it's too much of a point investment in a figure who's almost like he's trying to support my team, but then he's not because of that. So that I hope that makes sense. That's kind of how I feel about Jackal. He's neat though, and having read the whole crazy clone conspiracy saga story, it's a good representation of crazy Ben Riley.
Fair enough. Jay, anything you want to add?
I don't dislike what he does, but I think he just costs too many points. Like, this is a secondary attacker or in sealed. This could be the points of one of your main attackers. There's not enough there offensively. And the trait's fine, but I don't know. It's just too many points. And I think the special no line of fire outwit thing is kind of a trap, because I don't think that the Spider-Man stuff that's in this set is enough of a threat that you need that or want to have it as a contingency. Like the stuff that there's a lot of it, but none of it is a high enough threat as to warrant wanting to play that sort of silver bullet character.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we have Ezekiel Sims. Ezekiel Sims has got the Spider-Man team ability, 50 points, Spider-Man family mystical keywords, improved movement, ignores elevated and hindering. He's got prob, what you see is what you get dialed, but he's got a special trait, protector of the spider totem. Barrier as free, but only to place one marker adjacent to a friendly character with Spider-Man family keyword. Mike, what do you think of Ezekiel Sims?
Actually, he's super useful in sealed. I pulled him and ended up having a non-theme team, so the fact that he has top dial prob was super useful. The free barrier, you can put the free barrier in front of himself, so that was helpful. And in fact, being a wild card, I managed to have him on the team with a lot of Underworld guys, so I had people carrying him around for free at times, and having him put up a free barrier, sometimes on indoor maps, which totally protected my team behind walls. So definitely want to look at this guy in sealed. As well, he ignores elevated and hindering. He can come charging in with a object and prob his own attack. So, totally useful backup attacker for 50 points. Constructed, I only, again, being Mr. Name Theme, I see some potential there with Spider-Man family and that free barrier and prob. It's limited, and I have to fiddle and finagle with it. But before Superior Foes retires, I think there's a lot of things I can do with this figure. After, a little less so. But he's neat. He's a neat figure, and definitely look at him as a possibility in sealed.
All right, Jay, anything you want to
add? If you don't have name theme in sealed, you almost 100% play him, if only for the prob.
Yeah.
And also good offenses and wild card and the barrier, because of course. With this power set, of course you play it if you're otherwise not breaking theme.
Yep, absolutely. Just give me 1 second. I'm trying to mess with something for us to improve the... Yeah, we're going to have to work on that. All right. Next up, we have the Vulture. This is figure number 19A. Adrian Tomb, Sinister Syndicate, team ability, 50 points. Sinister Syndicate and Scientist keywords. Sinister Six United trait. King of the Sky. When Vulture is attacked by a character with the foot speed, he can use energy shield deflection. Jay, what do you think of Vulture?
Yeah, he's probably fine for sealed if you, again, don't have a name theme and all that. If you have the 6 characters, that's a pretty decent swing. And then 11-4, 11-5 with an object. There's a fair amount of boot, so if you're shooting him because there's no stealth or for some reason or another, energy shield is good. Decent enough dial, and then ends with that outwit, which is really good because then your opponent has to deal with him. Yeah, he's fine for sealed. Constructed, probably not.
All right. Mike, anything?
Yeah, pretty much the same. It's funny to me, other than the Sinister Six United trait, he's like the same Vulture I think I've seen like 1,000 times.
I think they've figured out the Vulture by now.
like 11, 10, 17 with charge and super senses. It's like, that's the Vulture.
Yep. Speaking of the Vulture, but not quite the Vulture, let's talk about the Prime Vulture. Raniero Blackie Drago is his real name. 50 points, Magia and Brute keywords. He is not Sinister Syndicate. He's got a special trait, Time to Make My Getaway. When Vulture KOs a character after resolutions, he can use Charge at no cost. He's got a special movement power. Let's see what the suit can do. Charge, Sidestep. When Vulture uses Sidestep, you may roll a d6. On a 4 to 6, he can use Sidestep a second time. I've seen this guy in action in Sealed. We watched Devin absolutely clobber everybody with this guy. He is bonkers and definitely worth a play in Sealed. I am still trying to figure out where he fits in Constructed, but I would love to see if we can make that team, or if I can make that team in any way, shape, or form happen with him, because I am in love with this guy. Mike, what are your thoughts on there?
Yeah, totally. This guy is gross. The potential on him is gross. I've seen him lay waste to a whole crowd. I, too, have been trying to build with him. What's really sad, and you'll see in a little bit, is the uncommon Fancy Dan has Magia, but his whole free attack thing only works on Enforcers. So if there was some way I could give this Vulture Enforcers. But anyway, he's a neat figure. I like this guy a lot. He's a great Prime. I mean, he's obviously better than the other Old Man Vulture. So yeah.
All right, Jay, your thoughts?
It's weird because I don't want to play him over Theme and Sealed, but I would feel really bad about not playing him if I pulled him in Sealed. But I still do think that the name theme is probably better most of the time. And Constructed, yeah, this guy plus Hawkeye is definitely going to be a thing that somebody is going to try, and it's going to be pretty yikes, especially against some of those Million Retaliator, Giant Girl teams, or the Monster Swarms, or any of that stuff. That can be pretty brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. And just want to tell everybody, I figured out a way to get our faces back on this, so we are being seen again. Heads up, Jay.
Oh, no.
Why?
Oh, no, suddenly my camera...
Because I found a little place in the window where we fit.
Ugh.
All right, so next up we have the crime...
wait, sorry, one rules thing before, because I know this might come up. Super Strength Knockback will not count as him KOing a character because...
It's a knockback KOing him and not him, right?
Yeah, this has come up before.
Knockback is its own character. All right. Next up, we have Crime Master, real name Nick Lucky Lewis. It sounds like a Dr. Seuss attempt there. Underworld team ability, 50 points, 4 range, enforces and magic keywords. He's got the New York Crime Boss trait, Leadership and Mastermind. When Crime Master uses leadership and succeeds, instead of removing an action token, you may generate 2 hired flunky bystanders. The secret of the Green Goblin is mine is his other trait, Shape Change. When Crime Master is KO'd, choose another friendly character. That character can use Shape Change this game. And then he's got Gathering the Gang Leaders and Secret. I believe that's actually his movement power, not a trait. Sidestep and Stealth. Mike, what do you think of Crime Master?
He's okay. Definitely, you want to look at the possibility of when you pull him in Sealed, because of the fact that we've already mentioned there's not really Power Cosmic, much of it in the set. So Outwit is beneficial. The hired flunkies are super great. Because they come out, they've got Underworld, they share the keywords, so now you've got this guy who can taxi people around, and he's popping out people you can mastermind off to. I also, as I just mentioned about that whole Fancy Dan uncommon in Enforcers, I'm already looking at an Enforcers build, so this is someone I have looked at as potential because of points. And hey, getting Shape Change on somebody wouldn't be such a bad downside to losing this figure. I don't want to give up 50 points to get Shape Change on somebody, but you know, he's interesting. He's an interesting figure. Yeah, I like him.
All right, Jay?
Yeah, this is another figure that if you don't have theme, I would probably play in Sealed. I managed to play him to pass off Shape Change to Black Panther, which was obnoxious. That was pretty fun. And yeah, you're giving up some points, but like your opponent kind of wants to deal with him because those flunkies are not irrelevant, and the Outwit and having leadership to get the actions, and then all that stuff. So in Sealed, I don't know. I don't feel like giving away 50 points is necessarily the worst thing ever, if depending on who you can get the Shape Change to. But you don't. I wouldn't say I play him automatically if I don't have theme, but he's a decent little piece for considering the rarity.
Yeah, I do have to say the New York Crime Boss trait is very good, considering that it creates the mastermind fodder for you. Mastermind fodder being, and anybody who makes these hired flunkies gets this character. It's a 5 range, 6 movement with stealth, 9 attack, 15 defense, 1 damage with exploit weakness. But it's also got this other one: always bring backup. When hired flunky starts the game, he gains the keywords of all friendly characters with the Underworld team ability. So that's pretty insane when it comes down to it. All right.
Because it's also, if you've managed to make a theme team, these are guys who can now take theme prop tokens.
Yeah. Or carry just about anybody on your team in that case as well. All right. Next up, we have figure number 21, Fancy Dan. Daniel Burrito is his real name, not Burrito. Underworld keyword, 6 range, 30 points. Enforces, Magia, and martial artist keywords. And he's got the new boss every week trait. We're going to see this in other places. At the beginning of the game, choose a friendly character who can use mastermind or leadership, and a keyword that character has. Fancy Dan gains that keyword. You two mooks, listen up. This is a special damage power on the first 2 clicks. Ranged combat expert power. Choose 2 other friendly characters within range with the enforcer's keyword. This turn, those characters have free make an attack. Jay, you have Fancy Dan first.
Depending on how keyword cheating stuff continues in the future, like it has been now, that enforcer's power might very well be useful. But as far as sealed goes, I mean, the values are still there. Like, the defenses are all good, the damage is always good. Underworld to carry, assuming you can get a good keyword off, is good. Everything here is good. It's just a matter of when he becomes good for constructed.
All right. Mike?
Yeah, in fact, that is exactly why I messaged you that other day, Jay, asking you about all the figures that could cheat on keywords, was because of this figure. Being able to pick 2 people and say that, hey, you can make a free attack at some point. What I like is, even when as we go down the set, you'll look at some of the rare enforcers. You could have Ox carry Montana up the map, and afterwards they both get free attacks. And in fact, that Ox, you'll see, can charge full movement. So you could charge full movement carrying Montana with the Underworld team ability, and then they both also get to make free attacks afterwards. I think that's crazy. The only thing that's making it not kind of broken right now is that it's relying on enforcers, and there's not enough keyword breaking things. In fact, the only things I could find right now in the modern would be the Silver Sable and Eternity. And it's still funny to watch 100-point Eternity just move up the map.
And then all of a sudden free.
Yeah, it is kind of fun, but it's with his values, it's not anything like insanely broken, and it's a tough build. But I like this figure. I think he's actually, because of that, has more world of constructed than he does in sealed, except for the fact of, if you pull other enforcers and you pull this guy in sealed, you definitely want to consider using him. You can totally out action the hell out of people with him, because they all got Underworld, so they're already could be carried. Even better, you have the flunkies carry them up, and then they free attack after they're carried with flunkies. So definitely, I and 30 points. So I think there is potential there, and just exactly what Jay said, down the line with keyword cheating. Like, it's really lucky that Thanos Prime says generic keyword and not named keyword, because I went to him right away. I immediately went to him and I was like, oh my god, does he keyword? Does he say name keywords or generic keywords? Son of a
Yeah, it's almost like they wanted to balance it or something.
Yeah, idiots.
I do like the idea of potentially having hired flunkies suddenly attack, because do not discount them attacking for free all of a sudden with exploit weakness.
Well, as we'll see later on too, we've got a figure in here who can potentially give all the hired flunkies a free move to begin with.
Yep,
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah,
free move and then free attack.
And that's Magia theme, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, well, look at that. Fancy Dan fits into that. All right. We spent a lot of time on Fancy Dan. Let's talk Montana. Jackson Bryce, Underworld, range 4, 30 points, enforces and magia keywords. New boss every week trait, and then rope tricks. Unique modifier. When Montana hits after resolutions, a hit opposing character modifies the combat values by -1 until your next turn. I think this is just an alright sealed character, which would get bumps from, like we've said, a character like Fancy Dan or somebody else allowing extra actions out of him, but just a base value is just kind of okay, but not offensive for 30 points, I don't think. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah. In fact, out of the enforcers, I like him the least. Sure, hey, if you get a hit off and minus all those combat values -1 from a 30-point figure, it could be useful. But he's he's kind of meh in sealed. I'm not looking at him at all in constructed. Definitely with those keywords and what I can get out of the other figures with those keywords and those points. No, I think he's a bit of a loser here.
Jay?
I think this is the figure so far that I most likely leave in the booster if I'm playing sealed. Unfortunately.
That happens, man. Not everything can be great. All right, next up, Ox. This is figure number 23, Raymond Block, Underworld, 30 points, enforces magia, brute, new boss every week trait. Indomitable. This is an enforcer's magia carrier it looks like. But Mike, what do you think? I'm taking your spot.
No, it's okay. That's pretty much what he is. He actually plays really well in sealed because of that solid 18 defense in the Indomitable. It makes him a little bit more useful, and it actually makes him a taxi that can then next turn also follow up with an attack, and he's not so easily taken out. In fact, I struggled against him in a game on Saturday at a pre-release. The Black Panther, for whatever reason, couldn't roll a 7 to hit that 18 defense, and that Ox actually caused me a lot of problems. So he's not bad in sealed to be a taxi that way, and a bit of a sort of a follow-up attacker, plus a little bit mastermindy fodder potential as well, only being 30 points. And Constructed, no, not really. Again, I think there's other stuff for those points, and I have other plans with those keywords for building. So,
all right, Jay, anything to add?
Probably only playing it in sealed if I know that I have some sort of new boss every week trait keyword character to carry, or if I happen to have Fancy Dan. But otherwise, probably not.
Yeah. A solid bodyguard for Luke Cage. Alright, next up, Electro, Francine Fry, Sinister Syndicate is her real name. Sinister Syndicate is her team ability, 7 range, 50 points. Sinister Syndicate is the only keyword she has. Sinister 6 United trait. And then Let's Do This is her special attack power on her first 3 clicks. Energy Explosion, when Electro uses it, she deals penetrating damage. Jay, thoughts on Electro?
Pretty good considering that her threat range is 5-minute running shot plus 8 range, so a swing of 13 essentially if you have the +1s. Penetrating is relevant. Her values are never really that bad, even when she's taking a hit, especially if you have the +1s. I played her in sealed at one point, and she did pretty good.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, very solid figure for sealed. You definitely want to try and get her on a team with 6 figures, because she becomes pretty beastly in that scenario. And I think she'll have some potential in the sealed world again if you can pull off that trait.
All right, next up, Luke Cage. Police keyword, police team ability, 100 points, Earth X, Heroes for Hire, and police keywords. Indomitable, Fists and Cuffs is his special movement power, charge, and plasticity. Release My People Now is a special attack power, Quake. When Luke Cage uses it and targets at least 2 characters, you may choose to either modify attack by +2 or increase damage dealt to all targets by 1. And he's got a special damage power, Sergeant Cage of the NYPD, Leadership. When Luke Cage uses it and succeeds, you may also remove an action token from all other friendly characters within 3 squares with the police keyword. If the result was 6, also remove an action token from Luke Cage. This guy performed very well for me in Sealed. That Quake power is really good. If it's a bunch of lower end, no toughness, no invulnerability guys, that +2 attack makes it almost makes it really close to a guaranteed hit in a lot of cases with 13 attack on Quake. Or the increased damage to get through things like invulnerable or a little bit of extra damage on guys with toughness also goes a particularly long way towards his effectiveness. And I mean, this is all my Sealed experience with him. As well, there's a couple figures that kind of cheat the keywords that can use his ability to use leadership. The new boss every week trait works really well with Luke Cage because he has leadership. You can start sharing police with some of those other dudes and start getting a little bit of extra police leadership out of him as well, especially when it starts to stack with the hired flunkies. It gets pretty nuts. That's been my experience with it so far, though, and I really like him in Sealed. As far as Constructed, I don't have any plans for him myself, but that's not to say I'll never use him in Constructed. I'm a Luke Cage fan, and I'm a fan of this figure. Mike?
You pretty much covered it, other than the Luke Cage fan part. Not that I don't like Luke Cage. I just don't know if I would say I'm a fan of Luke Cage.
Fair enough. Jay?
Probably the best version of Luke Cage you've ever gotten. I think you pretty much covered it for Sealed. I think the only constructed play he's seeing is Golden Age ID card call-in, because that's a mighty fine Quake he has there.
Don't be a bomb!
Yeah, right?
I call him Luke Cage, I quit.
That's so gross.
All right, next up. The Hydra Falcon, Sam Wilson's real name. 0 range, 50 points, Avengers, Earth, X, and Hydra keywords. Share through the Hive Mind. Unique modifier, friendly characters within 6 squares with the Hydra keyword. Modified defense, +1 against range attacks. Join the collective. He's got the special attack power on his last 3 clicks. Precision Strike, when the Hydra hits, after resolutions, give an action token to a hit character that can't use willpower. Then he's got a special damage power only on his first click. People want to be part of something. Passenger 4, but only to carry characters with the Hydra keyword. Mike, he is indomitable. He flies. Mike, your thoughts on the Falcon Hydra?
He's okay. He's something to consider if you pull him in Sealed. Again, if you're trying to build an Earth X team, because he can carry them around. Maybe you got lucky and you pulled a bunch of Hydra. Then definitely, you could look at him as a small possibility in the constructed world because of a taxi for a Hydra Swarm team, but definitely something that would be more probably a Golden Age kind of thing than a modern. Yeah, he's not bad. He's a kind of a cool Falcon for 50 points. So interesting.
All right, Jay?
I don't think I want to be carrying a lot of Hydra in this set's Sealed, unfortunately. Yeah, for Earth X, he's a fine taxi. Pretty hard to hit. Yeah, just based on his own stats, at the lowest, he's a 19 from range, so that's pretty good. Yeah, he's probably fine if you're themed and Sealed. Constructed, not really good.
Yeah, part of Mike's Hydra Golden Age team for sure. All right, next up, we have the Hydra Sharon Carter. Real name Sharon Carter, 5 range, 60 points, Earth X, Hydra, and Shield keywords. Improved targeting, ignores characters. Share through the Hive Mind. Friendly characters in 6 squares with the Hydra keyword. Modified defense, +1 against close attacks. Special attack power, join the collective. Precision Strike, when Hydra hits, after resolution, give an action token to a hit character. Can't use willpower. It's the same as Falcon. I should have caught that earlier. And then the special damage power on her first click, where the world's only answer. Adjacent opposing characters can't be healed. She has some perplex on her second and third clicks. Indomitable. Jay, thoughts on the Sharon Carter Hydra?
For Sealed, because of Earth X keyword, she's probably pretty good. I like the idea of pushing onto the stealth, 20 reflexes because of the trait, perplex, all that stuff, especially because I'd rather her just not get hit than have running shot, probably. I don't know how relevant her damage power is, because I can only think of one Steel Energy in the set, and that's Morbius, so who cares? But yeah, pretty solid defensively. Will be really annoying to hit if you can force the issue.
All right, Mike?
Yeah, pretty much. Ditto.
All right, cool. I'm on the same page anyway. I haven't been saying it, but generally if you don't hear me say anything, it's because I'm on the same page. All right, next up, Blue Union Jack. 50 points, 5 range, Earth X, Excalibur, and Soldier. Keyword, stiff upper lip trait. So it's the same as the other ones. Damage, remove an action token. Special damage power. Come on, lads, for king and country. Enhancement and leadership. When Blue Union Jack uses leadership and succeeds, friendly characters modify attack +1 until your next turn. Wow. That's on a 50-point character. This is just a great dude for Sealed. I mean, +1 attack for friendly characters on a successful leadership. That's bonkers.
Jay very effectively used this to slap me around.
Yeah,
very effectively.
On top of that, he has enhancement too. So if you got range guys next to him, he's pretty fantastic. He's got running shot and Psychic Blast. Sealed, play him for sure. I'm not sure where this Excalibur team is coming in yet, but definite Seal play. Absolutely. Mike, anything you want to add?
Yeah, and again, he still has a bit of a potential. Like, if you want to make an Earth X team, I like Earth X builds. If you're trying to build something around that Earth X Daredevil, this guy doesn't have to be next to anybody, right? He's just got to roll leadership, and then everybody on the team's got a +1 attack. So I think that's great. And like I said, I watched how well Jay used that in our constructed game. He rolled it at just the right times. And there's a lot of figures in this set who have an 11 attack. So now they got a 12 attack.
Yeah.
And 12 attack is pretty gross, man. It works in this set. So definitely got to look at both these Union Jacks, man. Don't underestimate them.
All right, Jay?
Yeah, that's a figure that's useful in every single click and Earth X. And if you're hitting him, he's taking tokens off and still doing stuff. And you're definitely not one-shotting him ever unless you are rolling really good blades like Mike did or have a Hulk. Theoretical meta use, if there is that good Soldier Taxi to play with all the good Soldier stuff that's action after Taxi, like the new Cap title, Sam, All the Foot, Elite, and whatever. Like, theoretically, when that happens, this guy will be a part.
All right. Next up, President Osborn. Norman Osborn, real name. Underworld team ability, 50 points. Earth X, Enforces, Hydra, Sinister Syndicate, and Politician keywords. You are my bodyguard, and I pay cash. It's his first trait. At the beginning of the game, choose another friendly character that has 75 points or less, or has a Sinister Syndicate keyword to become President Osborn's bodyguard. The President Osborn's bodyguard is within. If the President's Osborn bodyguard is within 4 squares, they have free. Choose 2 different combat values and modify both by +1 until your next turn. New York Crime Boss leader is his other trait, which is, of course, the Leadership Mastermind. Get hired. Flunky's ability. Mike, what do you think of President Osborn? I think we both had great success with this guy.
Well, first off, if you're not playing him in Sealed, I can only assume that's because there's no one else on your team who's 75 points or less. Because why would you not? Like, that alone is why you play this figure. Like, you put him on your team. On top of that, it's leadership. It's busting out the hired flunkies who are carrying you around. If you're able to make an Earth X team, even more you're playing this guy. Like, I mean, I can't say enough how amazing this figure is for Sealed. I don't know why you wouldn't be looking at playing him. Again, it really would have to be something else going on in your boosters to make you not look at this figure, because being able to modify 2 values like that is huge. Him and Fancy Dan Rare are so close.
Oh my gosh.
There's a match made in heaven. They're perfect. And I got to go back to now that uncommon Fancy Dan, because uncommon Fancy Dan at 30 points and a President Osborn at 50 points is only 80 points. You throw someone like the rare Montana on there at 50 points, you're only at 130 points now. That Montana could boost 2 of his combat values too, move up the map, and then take a free attack on somebody. You could do that again. Put 2 President Osborns on there. Maybe throw an Ox on there. Now Ox carries Montana up the map with him. Maybe Ox actually does a full movement charge while carrying Montana, and then they both attack afterwards, both having modified their stats from President Osborn's. All of this is an Enforcers theme team, and there's still room for ID cards. So anyway, I love him. I love this figure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think this is a fantastic figure for 50 points. Maybe I'm too in love with him from how well he's worked with me, but I just.
It's a very unassuming character. I can definitely agree with you there. It's like, yeah, at first glance, you're like, oh, well, he doesn't do much, but then you read and it's like, oh, he does do much.
Well, even Sinister Syndicate. We've already looking at building Sinister Syndicate teams with 6 figures on them to activate that trait. Well, now fit him on there. So not only are they getting the modifiers because you've activated the trait, this guy can also give them more modifiers. You can have some beastly Sinister Syndicate teams, man. I'm telling you, I love this guy.
All right, Jay, your thoughts?
I really wish that there was some event where there was going to be team sealed with this set, because I don't think there will be. Because this guy would be, yikes. Like, if you can get that Sinister Syndicate team and then somebody has, like, +2 attack and damage instead of just +1s. Oh my gosh.
Electro.
Yeah.
So,
Or that amazing Doc Ock.
yeah. So
Oh.
gross.
Oh, God.
Love this guy.
All right. Next up, the Skull. Benjamin Beckley, no affiliation, 0 range with 3 targets, 40 points. Earth X keyword, special trait. If he can see you, he can control you. Mind control. When the Skull uses it as a range action, he may target one character regardless of range. Still requires line of fire, but can't target other characters. He's got a special defense power in his last 2 clicks. Don't raise your hand against me. Stop. Mastermind. When the Skull uses Mastermind, he may choose a friendly character regardless of point values. Jay, what do you think of the Skull?
This is the best constructed figure we've seen so far, for sure. The only thing that is not 100% optimal is the lack of keywords, but I don't mind necessarily, because then you are free to just do whatever random amazing stuff you want, like a Starro, or I don't know, a lot of random ridiculous stuff that I can't even think of right now. As well as the fact that there are objects that give blades to use that lower 11 attack at the lowest is really good. And yeah.
All right. Mike?
Well, I mean, at least he has Earth X keyword, and President Osborn's got Earth X.
There we go. It's part of the disgusting thing.
I think also too that in a pre-tank being retired world, that you have to look at this figure and see that he has that gross potential in the constructed environment to just throw a tank across the map against a team, that's maybe built around bystanders or colossal retaliators or something like that, and ruin that. Multiple stop clicks. I don't love him because he's not my vibe, but I can see all the things that this figure can do and all the grossness he can do. And 12 attack. Oh.
I don't like how in constructed this is probably the guy that if he doesn't kill my Surtur first is probably going to trigger him. All right, next up, King Britain. Brian Braddock is his real name. Mystics team abilities, 120 points, Earth X, Excalibur, Mystical, Ruler. Mike, he was playable multiple points, wasn't he? Or is it just 120 points? It was like a set?
Just 120 points.
Okay, cool. I thought for some reason he had a smaller point violent line, but I think I might be thinking Fast Forces. He's got the Stiff Upper Lip trait. The Stiff Upper Lip, leading from the front for his defense power. Impervious. If King Britain is the only friendly character closest to an opponent's starting area, friendly characters modify defense by +1. Special damage power on the first 3 clicks. King of the British Isles. Leadership, but may choose 2 characters instead of 1. I had to play against this guy while Mike was using him. Oh my gosh. He's a nightmare to deal with in the sealed environment of this set because he's super tough and he's got Mystics, which is obnoxious. The only guy I was really allowed to attack him with was my Luke Cage, and that only lasts for 3 clicks, to be brutally honest. So just a general nightmare, I think, in sealed. Almost sitting at that must-play level, but I don't know. I like him. Mike liked him. Beat me with him. So, Mike, what do you think about King Britain?
Yeah, I like him definitely way more in the sealed environment. I wouldn't be looking at him in the constructed environment. At 120 points, I don't think he's doing enough Like that's such a huge investment. He is not. That's a tentpole, and he is not a tentpole in that way. But he plays really well in sealed. You have to play him aggressively though, because you really want to get that +1 defense to everybody. You just, as always, want to watch out for outwitters, because just take that away, and then he gets a little bit soft. But yeah, he plays really, really well in sealed. So definitely consider him. Mystics actually goes a fair way in this set because you're not worrying about Colossal Retaliators. But yeah, I can't imagine you'd be looking at him in the meta.
Yeah. All right, Jay, anything you want to add, or?
I don't know how much I like him in sealed, considering that one decent hit makes him lose move and attack, and the stats that reflect a 120-point character. Like, he's not bad, and the impervious is good, and the defenses are good. I just think that you'd have to be very careful with him a fair amount of time, because there is a good amount of penetrating damage. So I think he's good, but I think he is a little less good than he looks at first glance, if that makes any sense.
It makes a bit, but like I said, I've seen him in action, and it's actually a 19 defense if he's played aggressively.
Yeah, that's why I say you got to play him aggressively.
Yeah, but then you can't like body block him, which kind of...
It's okay though. To be fair, the other reason I played him really well was because I put the Spider Slayer on him. So I also had super senses, impervious, and a 19 defense.
Yeah. Though that all added up, but I couldn't hit the 19 defense anyway, so your super senses wasn't really the factor.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Black Knight, Ahura Boltagon. 6 range, 100 points, Earth X, Excalibur, Inhumans, and Rulers. We're almost out of the uncommons here, guys. Stiff Upper Lip trait, Terragenesis twice trait. Special damage power on his last 2 clicks, his father's legacy, Pulse Wave. When Black Knight uses it, he can use improved targeting blocking. So he just ignores blocking, but after the resolutions, destroy all blocking terrain within the Pulse Wave range. And then he's got special attack damage power on the first 3 clicks, Scion and Apprentice of Kings. Leadership, when Black Knight uses it and succeeds, he has protected outwit. I would use this guy in sealed. I mean, he's just a solid 100-point character. You can't be as careless as you could get away with like the Black Knight, or not the Black Knight, with the King Britain. But he's a tough dude, able to fight. I think those were kind of my thoughts on it. Jay, though, what do you think? Sorry, I led too fast. I got into it.
He's basically fine, I guess. Like, I wouldn't be super happy about having to play him, but he's definitely not bad either. I guess as far as low rarity primary attackers, he's fine.
All right, Mike?
Really, I don't roll well enough to play him because that 10 attack is just not high enough for me. I can't live with it. He's not bad in sealed. If you get lucky and you roll that leadership a fair amount, he can be a pain in the ass because it's one that you can't get rid of. And there's a fair chunk of figures in this set who aren't doing tons of damage per se, but he just ends up being so very meh, especially at the 100 points. I just feel like there's so many other figures in this set that at 50 points, by playing more figures, you accomplish more than what you get away with him.
Yeah, he is kind of like a part of I think 3 upper echelon uncommons that they tend to put a couple like playable uncommons just in case the rare slot kind of messes with you in this set. All right, we're in the rare slot. Speaking of. So we start off with Namor. This Namor looks the coolest in the set. He's like half on fire. Namor Mackenzie is his real name. He's 130 points or 80 points. Atlantis, Earth X, and Ruler are his keywords. At 130 points, he starts with a special movement power, which gives him Charge and Flurry, called Attacking the UN. He's got a special trait, still the most dangerous thing in the ocean, modified by Namor's defense by +2 if he occupies water. Cursed to burn forever. Poison, but only if Namor does not occupy water terrain. Indomitable, flies. Ultimately, I think I only see this guy played in sealed, and I mean, he's very obvious in the way that he plays in sealed. He beats people up. So I think that's kind of his thing, but ultimately doesn't really shine as a constructed player or character in my eyes. Mike, what are your thoughts?
I pretty much agree.
Yeah, and Jay?
Yeah.
The only things I have to add are good Golden Age call-in and another one of those definitive versions of a character that just does not have the keywords because of EarthX.
Yeah.
But he's still really good.
All right, next up, Dr. Octopus. Otto Octavius, Sinister Syndicate is his team ability, 4 range, 75 or 50 points. Improved movement, ignores elevated terrain and characters. Sinister 6 United trait. Arms of the Octopus. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose one. Energy Shield Deflection, Flurry, Passenger 2, free move up to 4 squares. Dr. Octopus can use the chosen ability or chosen power or ability until your next turn. 75 is starts with some mastermind and outwit. 50 points starts with leadership and combat reflexes. It does have sidestep across the board. Mike, what do you think of Dr. Octopus as what do you think of Dr. Octopus?
I like him. I think he's great. He's a great figure. He's got a lot of interesting things going on. The choices he can make with Arms of the Octopus make him very useful, both as like a secondary attacker, a taxi, all these things. Because he's already ignoring elevated terrain and characters, so he's breaking away automatically, and he can carry 2 friends with him. I think that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I kind of like him better at the 50 points because of the fact that I could help build him onto a Sinister Six United team, and he's bringing the leadership to that team. Yeah, he's a great figure. I think both in constructed and in sealed, you have to look at the potential of this guy.
All right, Jay.
This is definitely a strong sealed play. Constructed, if there's Sinister Syndicate stuff, I think he's probably a part of it, considering he can do it. Yeah, he can call an ID card and then just move 6 to make them poof all on his own. Seems fine. And Atwood's good. Pretty hard to hit with good defenses and Mastermind. I actually don't think I like the 50 points just because I feel like there's enough that we'll be able to deal with the reflexes better than the Mastermind, probably.
Fair enough. All right. Next up, we have the Beetle, who also comes with the Beetle Pod, which is toughness, modify speed by 2, and flight, and is 8 points. Equip any unequipped drop. It's a heavy object as well. The Beetle is Abner Jenkins' real name, Sinister Syndicate, team ability, 6 range, 75 or 50 points. Massive Evil Sinister Syndicate and armor keywords. Signature equipment, Beetle may start the game with the Beetle Pod equipped. Sinister Six United, and then Organizer of the Sinister Syndicate, leadership. And this is a trait. When a friendly character within 6 squares replaces its attack value using the Sinister Syndicate team ability, modify its attack by +1. Jay, what do you think of the Beetle?
The sheer stupidity of his swing in sealed should probably guarantee that you play him, unless you just have something that's so good and you want to give them the Beetle Pod instead. Trade leadership is good for the actions, and his stats are already good enough that Perplex just goes to other characters. His damage isn't that great, but the buffs are good, and then the option of Energy Explosion's good. And then if you're playing the Sinister Syndicate, which already have really good stats, the extra +1 on top of that, on top of their +1s that they already have. So, yeah, you're probably playing him in sealed, I think.
Cool. Mike?
Oh, yeah, this is a great figure with lots of potential to it. Jay nailed it on the head when he said all the number potential there, right? I mean, he's got the Beetle Pod, so he's actually running 7 and shooting 6, and that's assuming you're not already on a Sinister Syndicate United team. Because if you're on a Sinister Syndicate United team, then you're actually running 7 and shooting 7.
No,
running 8 and shooting 7.
8 and 7. It's even grosser than I thought. Look at that. It's so gross. You're running 8, shooting 7 with a 12 attack, 3 base damage, and you've still got a Perplex.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Even at 50 points, he's still doing all that stuff except for with 1 less attack. Come on. This is a great figure.
Absolutely agree.
The Beetle Pod, it's the Beetle Pod. you don't think about it. You look at the figure, you're like, oh, this is pretty solid. And then you look at the beetle pod on top of it, you're like, oh my god. Oh my god. The beetle pod plus the trait, plus that, plus the traded leadership. Yeah.
Now you're
Best
cooking with
beetle.
gas.
Abner Jenkins was never this good in the comics. I'm sorry. The Beetle was
never this
cool in the comics.
Not even as Mach 5, he was never this good.
No, never, ever, ever. So, bravo, Beetle.
Yeah.
You won the lottery on this one.
I think the Beetle Pod spent more time broken in the comics than Abner Jenkins spent fighting. All right, next up, Alistair Smythe, who comes with the Mini Slayer, which is an equip any unequipped KO. When this character hits, if friendly to this equipment, after resolutions, you may equip this character to a hit character. It will unequip other equipment. If this character is friendly to this equipment, it can use super senses, but only succeeds on a 6. If this character is opposing to this equipment, it can't be given actions to equip and modifies its speed by -2. Alistair Smythe himself is 50 points with 6 range. Armor and scientist keywords. Improved movement, ignores elevated. Has a signature weapon he can start with, the Mini Slayer. As a free action, if the Mini Slayer is equipped to a character, generate one and equip it to Alistair Smythe. It's going to be like the first equipment that's going to sell for a lot of money because you need multiples, I think. The Ultimate Spider Slayer is the second trait. When Alistair Smythe attacks a character with the Spider-Man family keyword, after resolutions, deal that character 1 penetrate damage. Welcome to My World is a special movement power in first 2 clicks, which gives him charge and flurry. This is a character who shines because he comes with the Mini Slayer, I think. Like Mike said, there's situations where it's probably worth it to put the Mini Slayer sometimes on a character who might even be better than Alistair Smythe in set. But just he's a generally solid like charge flurry in sealed. Never, like the character himself is probably never going to see constructed play, but his Mini Slayers are going to make their own name for themselves in a world where we're starting to use equipment, and you kind of need that extra counter to it. It's kind of my thoughts on it. Mike, what do you think?
Well, my question is, would you actually need multiple? Because it says if none are equipped to a character.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. I screwed up. So you don't need more than one. Ignore me. I'm going to shut my mouth.
Because when it unequips, it gets destroyed, so you could just reuse that one, right?
That's fair.
It's not a 0-point game element. I'm pretty sure.
it's
Oh no,
points,
you can
yeah.
reuse triples. Maybe.
That's what I mean. You can reuse.
Unless it says
triples.
characters, it's a minutia thing. It might work. It might not work.
Honestly, let's just say you only need the one.
Well, let me know because
You're not playing Alistair Smythe. I mean,
Well, no, I've already pulled multiple Alistair Smythe, so if the objects are actually worth having multiple, it's good to know.
Yeah.
I would consider him in the sealed just because, again, it's outwit, and I do like the object. But as I showed, I chose the object on its own over him because I found more use to it. I'm not looking at him in any way, shape, or form in the constructed environment. There's just too many points for, I don't know, what a guy, is he an outwitter or is he a secondary attacker? I don't know. The object has more value than the figure.
Mm-hmm. Jay?
In sealed he's probably fine. But maybe you want to use the Mini Slayer instead as an object. It really depends on what you pull. But for 50 points, I think he's fine. I mean, it's not that easy to kill either, and the outwit is good even if he misses his attacks. The only other thing I have to say is that, like with the Jackal, I don't think there's enough Spider-Man that's relevant to give him extra consideration because of the second trait.
Yeah. All right, next up, figure 37A, Spider-Man, real name Peter Parker, the Spider-Man team ability. He actually has 4 range with 2 targets. I have the card right here, so that's kind of helping out. He's 90 points, Avenger, Spider-Man family, spy, scientist, and reporter keywords. Ignores elevated, hindering, and characters for movement purposes. He's got his signature equipment is the web shooters. It's a light object, 6 points, equip friendly, unequipped KO. Its effect is Incapacitate with a maximum range of 4. When this character uses it and hits, instead of giving an action token, you may have hit targets gain immobile until your next turn. They still take 1 penetrating damage if they had 2 action tokens. Protect by Family is his second trait. Free. If no other friendly character has activated this trait this turn, choose an opposing character that attacked a friendly character with the Spider-Man Family keyword since your last turn. Place Spider-Man such that he can make a close attack targeting the chosen character, then do so. Spider Retaliation. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is his special movement power in the first 2 clicks. Running Shot. Whenever Spider-Man makes an attack or is attacked after resolutions, you may move him 1 square. Mike, what do you think of Peter Parker, the Spider-Man?
I love him. I love him. I think he's great. I for sure would play him if I pulled him in the sealed. I don't know why I would ever not. He looks great. He plays great. He's got solid values. A Spider-Man with prob. Oh, thank God. I love that.
Yeah.
My God, a Colossal Retaliating Spider-Man that's not a Colossal Retaliator. I love him. Wow. Do I wish he was a little less than 90 points? Sure. It'd be a little easier to build with him, but I love him. I will definitely be building Spider-Man Family teams with him, Avengers teams with him in the constructed environment. He's beautiful. I love him.
All right. Jay?
This is a pretty good dial for how obscure this character is.
Who knows who Spider-Man is?
Yeah, it just sounds like an obscure character name, like Spider's Man. Like,
sounds like a pro wrestler of some sorts.
Where's the martial artist keyword? Yeah, on top of everything else, just having the wild card can synergize really well in the sealed environment because of all the fun stuff with the Syndicate and police and all that good stuff. Maybe constructed potential with Avengers because you can retaliate with himself if he's attacked, and then all the giant girls.
The guy who was attacked has to have Spider-Man Family keyword. That is an important element.
Yes.
So
if he's attacked on that hypothetical team, the stats are all good. Every click is good. The fact that he comes in and punches, but then with his special movement power just poofs away is cool. And I like the idea of constructed incapping Colossals to death, or incapping Colossals that are pushed because you're just killing them without. I guess it would trigger other retail, but whatever. I don't think he's that strong necessarily for constructed, but it's a maybe. There's some good Spider-Man stuff going on there. Scientist is good. Reporter's never going to happen, but yeah, overall pretty good.
Yeah, it's one of those characters. He's got a team. We just haven't figured it out yet. All right, his prime though, Spider-Man Miles Morales is 37B. Spider-Man team ability, 4 range, 75 points. Exile, Spider-Man Family, Future, and Scientist keywords. Ignores elevated, hindering, and characters for movement. Just a kid from Brooklyn until that spider bite. Traded super senses whenever Spider-Man uses super senses and succeeds. After resolutions, you may move him 2 squares. Protected, outwit. He's got Venom Strike as another trait. Whenever Spider-Man hits with a close attack, after resolutions, choose 1 to last until the next turn. Hit characters gain immobile, or hit characters modify attack by -1. He's got special defense power on his first 3 clicks. My friends think I should be a hero. I just want a normal life. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose 1 to last until your next turn. Attack +1 or stealth. Jay, what do you think of Miles Morales?
For sealed, you're probably playing him because stealth is hard to deal with in the set, and then he's just stealthy until he wants to attack. Quaking multiple characters and then giving them all immobile is pretty cool. Super senses that you can move away and ignore characters while you do it is good. 12 attack for 75 points without wit is good. Every click is good. Hopefully they address those obviously wrong keywords. So asterisks pending whatever happens there for constructed, I guess you could say, hopefully. But yeah, pretty solid overall, I think.
All right. Though I won't hold my breath on the keywords given the Deadpool
mean?
Work with the mouth.
They're totally gonna like this guy, right? They totally fix his keywords.
Yeah, totally did that. Mike, your thoughts?
I wonder if he if because he has future, are they trying to say this version of Miles who then eventually joins? Only explanation I have for it, because Miles shouldn't have future or exiles.
No.
He should have champions. That's what I'm even more pissed off about. You characters with the champions keyword. You give us this amazing Miles Morales and you don't give him champions? Do you even comic book? No, seriously. But anyway, the figure himself, I love him. I know I just said that about a Spider-Man, but I love this one even more. Top 5 figure in the set for me. Oh my god, how could you not play him? How could you not play him? You know? I don't care what you say about that, Jay. I don't care what you say. I disagree. But anyway, why would you not play him in Sealed? He's such a fantastic figure. He's ignoring characters, elevated, hindering. He's got the outwit. He's got ways of making people immobile. He can hide to give a boost to his attack. Like, oh my god, what a fantastic figure. And at 75 points, looking at the keywords, as they are now, I would play him on a Spider-Man family team for sure. Yeah, I would make an Exiles team with him. Why wouldn't I? I mean, he's 75-point outwitting awesome Spider-Man. He's a fantastic figure. I love him. But yes, fix those keywords. What's going on? What?
Yeah, I feel like this. Amber kind of pointed out that at some point it looks like this was going to be Spider-Man 2099, and they changed their mind somewhere.
Yeah,
those are literally the same keywords from the last 2099.
Yeah, that's what it has
literally.
to be. Because Miles isn't a scientist. Like, look, he goes to school and he's studying a lot of stuff, but he's not a scientist. Yeah. He is 100% not from the future, and he was never part of the Exiles.
That's right.
Like, I'm beginning to think that Exiles, the keyword itself, is actually cursed.
I think it's just a joke at this point in WizKid's office.
Also, we didn't crime ever.
Well, it's just like if the people aren't supposed, and then the people who are supposed to have it, hello, Sabretooth, what the hell, don't get it. Like, what is going on with Exiles? You're hurting Jay's and mine and Amber's feelings.
Yeah.
Stop messing with us.
You're hurting people, man. All right. Next up, we have one of my favorites, Stegron. Real name is oddly Vincent Stegron. 0 range, 75 points. His keywords are Battleworld, Spider Island, Shield, Savage Land, Sinister Syndicate, Scientist, and Animal. I had to take those two out of order just because I got to keep the S thing going. He's a what you see is what you get dial with the retro regeneration ray. The bystanders printed on this card are dinosaurs. At the beginning of the game, generate one of each dinosaur. Power, generate a dinosaur if that dinosaur is not already on the map. Stampede is his other trait, double power. This turn, Stegron and his dinosaurs have free move, then make a close attack. The Stegosaurus is a giant with 4 movement with Force Blast and invulnerable. The Brontosaurus is 3 movement with Sidestep, 9 attack with Quake, 16 defense with Impervious, and they all have Battle Fury with 3 damage. Is a Colossal. The T-Rex is a giant with 5 movement with Charge, Blades, Claws, and Fangs, 17 defense with Toughness, again 3 damage with Battle Fury. I'm in love with my dinosaurs. This is like Devil Dinosaur Light to me, and light in the fact that the Stegosaurus, Brontosaurus, and T-Rex are a little bit more one-dimensional than the tokens we got out of the Devil Dinosaur. And I keep trying to find ways to artificially give this character willpower. I'm really hoping one of the Infinity Gems helps me with that, come Illuminati Black Panther. But I like this guy. I like his bystanders. They're very unassuming as well when you think about the fact that they're giant and colossal. So they have a little bit more reach than you would think. And they're capable of, giving Stegron himself a little bit of a ride early on. So I like him. Myself, personally. Does the Stegosaurus... Oh, the Stegosaurus has Mystics? That's even better.
Yeah.
That's even better. I didn't even catch that. That's amazing. Even better. I love it more. It's spiky. I get it. It's it's awesome. I don't know. Mike, are you as excited for Stegron as I am?
Not as excited as you are. That's a tough act to follow on that one. But no, he's a pretty solid figure. Being able to pop out bystanders has been shown time and time again to be useful and an effective tactic of doing things. The fact that they can carry him, they could be carrying other people. And again, you have to always look at that potential with the Sinister Syndicate keyword and the Sinister Syndicate trait. He now can go on a team and generate these dinosaurs, which helps get you the 6 figures, which helps activate the trait, or maintain 6 figures and help activate the trait. So that's useful. Sealed, definitely want to look at him. Constructed, a little tougher at those 75 points. But again, as I mentioned with the keyword, there's some possibilities there. Animal keyword as well. But he's a fun little figure. And I appreciate anybody who likes dinosaurs, how much they would love this guy.
Jay?
It's weird because I kind of don't like him for Animal, because the fact that he brings 4 bodies onto the map is kind of bad for King Shark, weirdly enough.
Yeah, he's not good.
Not even, it's like half a team.
This is not King Shark's friend.
Yeah, he is actively not King Shark's friend. I wish his overall attack values were better. That is, way too few 10s, way too many below 10s for my taste, and the pushing. Sealed, probably. He's rare, so I can definitely see the Sealed going on, and I like the idea of moving the dinosaurs and then getting the free. Yeah, because what is it? If you move the T-Rex, you move 5, then you free move 5, and then Giant Reach 3. So that's actually a pretty respectable swing as far as Sealed goes. Yeah, he's probably okay for Sealed.
All right. Next up, the Rose. Richard Fisk is his real name. Underworld team ability 4, range 40 points. Hydra, Magia, Spy keywords. New York crime boss trait. Who is the boss is his second trait. Traded shape change. When the Rose uses it and succeeds, give him a mystery token. Free, remove a mystery token. This turn, friendly characters named Hired Flunky have free move. And of course, he's creating hired flunkies with his leadership, should he so choose. Mike, what do you think of the Rose?
Definitely, if you pull him in Sealed, you want to consider him, like we mentioned earlier, if you're not making a theme team, because he's got the top 2 clicks there with Prob, and Prob is super useful. If you're not making a theme, get some Prob on there. The fact that he has the stealth and leadership and mastermind, and he's generating his own mastermind fodder is huge. He's got shape change, which helps protect him too. So in fact, I think you want to be more aggressive with him, put him out there, because you also want to get a chance to get one of those mystery tokens on there, because free moving hired flunkies with Underworld carrying your guys is gross. On top of that, I mentioned it earlier, he's got Magia. Fancy Dan has Magia. When you pop out the hired flunkies, they get the keywords of all the people who have Underworld, which means they will get Enforcer keywords, which means now with Fancy Dan and the Rose, you can have 2 of those hired flunkies can attack for free. Sure, they've only got a 9 attack and 1 damage, but there's perplexes, there's all these things, man. I have seen time and time again people take 0 costed bystanders and turn them into, deadly forces, and especially if you're doing it for free. If people are moving for free and attacking for free, that's gross. And that's 70 points again, by the way. The Fancy Dan is 30 and this guy is 40, so that's only 70 points now you spent to have the potential to do that. So I think you have to consider him as a possibility in Constructed. I think you have to consider him as a possibility in Sealed, again because of Prob, and because, again, just calling out those flunkies. I think there's a lot of potential here. The dial doesn't show what this figure is really about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He is not a 7 move, stealth, 9 attack, whatever. That's not what this figure is about.
He's a prob that they want to try to kill, and you're not going to let die.
Yeah.
Jay?
Yeah, for Sealed, if you don't have as you need to play him, he feels kind of fringy to me, just because making those pogs and they're never not gonna do something of value between just carrying or other stuff, and like the Wolverine bounty blades inspiration for exploit blades on a Pog, and free moves and all that stuff. So yeah, he feels like very B tier fringy to me for constructed.
All right. Next up, Mr. Negative. Martin Lee is his real name. Underworld keyword, Ray 5 range, 65 points, Magia and Politician keywords. New York crime boss trait, special movement power, light and dark, free, choose sidestep or stealth. Till your next turn, Mr. Negative can use a chosen power. Special defense power is resilient, toughness. Mr. Negative can't be knocked back. Special damage power in his last 4 clicks. Enhancing blades and spirits, empower, exploit, weakness, and support. Jay, what do you think of Mr. Negative?
For sealed, he's probably fine. Outwit is good. Underworld carry is good. Not necessarily easy to hit with the stealth and can't be knocked back. When he takes a bit of a hit, he's empowering the hired flunkies. He maybe is supporting other characters. I just never want to end up on that click 4. Like, I'd rather just regen back up because that 9 attack is not really hitting that much. But even then, 3 damage, yeah, he's probably an okay sealed play, but not like the best.
All right, Mike, your thoughts?
He played really well for me in sealed. I got him on Saturday, and he played really well for me. That 18 defense is nothing to sneeze at. He was able to reposition himself a lot and outwit, generating hired flunkies, carrying other people himself, being carried by other people. I like him. He played really well. I don't know what it is. There's just something about him I kind of like. Very limited in the constructed world with Magia and Politician, but as I just mentioned, that little Magia build, he can fit onto that nicely to get you some outwit and to help generate more of those higher flunkies that can potentially move for free. So I do like him paired up with the Rose, but as Jay said, it's fringy. It's in that world.
Yeah,
but I like him. He's a cool figure, and I like what they did with the dial and the look of the dial. So he was fun.
And I do have to say I am a fan of the idea of getting him with a President Osborne.
Yeah, right.
Very easy to do in the same pack too, when you consider that one's an uncommon and one's rare. So
they share Politician.
Yeah. All right, next up, mine and Mike's favorite rare, Fancy Dan. Underworld team ability, 6 range, 50 points, Earth X, Enforcers, Magia, Martial Artist, and Politician keywords, new boss every week trait. Obfuscated Offender, this one's really neat. Energy shield deflection, but modifies defense by +3 instead of +2. Special attack power, Dance Boy! Precision strike, when Fancy Dan missed with a range attack after resolutions, you may place the missed target in a square adjacent to the one it occupied. Me and Mike can already attest, this guy with President Osborne is bonkers nuts. For some reason, we kept increasing our defenses. I guess it was out of fear of close combat attacks.
Yeah, totally.
You don't even have to hide this guy in hindering terrain. You're wasting your time. Unless, like, they have outwit, then yeah. Okay, maybe you do have to do the extra work. But this guy for 50 points is a really solid seal to include for sure. We're all not going to lie to ourselves. I mean, constructed, not going to shine quite as much, but he does have a place in Mike's Magia/Enforcers teams for sure. As a little bit of that range sniper guy that you want on the team. But yeah, just a general neato kind of dude to play in sealed. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, totally. You covered all of it. You got to look at this guy in sealed. He's so good, and constructed fringy.
Yeah, Jay.
I was just trying to think if there's an object in this set that gave energy explosion, but there is not. So give that to him. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, seems pretty good for sealed. I like an effect that gives you something when you miss. Pretty good. Stats are always fine. He's good. He's fine.
Yeah. He, also, it wasn't just the what's his name? President Osborne he comboed well with. He also comboed well with Luke Cage, because Luke Cage has leadership, so that means they can share the keyword, and then he's put out police keyword, and everybody within 3 squares, including any hired flunkies you might make with this guy on the board, are going to be police, right? It's pretty cool. All right, next up, Montana. Underworld keyword or Underworld team ability, 4 range, 2 targets. 50 points. Earth X enforces magia, politician keywords. New boss every week. Random Cowboy is his other trait. When an opposing character moves through a square adjacent to Montana, after resolutions, you may place Montana adjacent to that character. Trussed up like a turkey on Thanksgiving. Incapacitate is his special attack bar he has on his first 2 clicks. When Montana uses it and hits, after resolutions, you may choose one, place a hit character adjacent to Montana, or a hit character gains immobile until your next turn. Mike, what do you think of Montana?
I like this Montana. I think that 18 super senses with shape change makes him pretty difficult to deal with defensively. You gotta use 2 outwits to get rid of the D6 rolls, or you gotta deal with one of them. Again, I go back to that Fancy Dan, and I look at this guy immediately has another potential because he could move 10 squares and then make that attack. You put a President Osborne on there, and now I'm making him have a 12 attack with a 3 damage after he moves 10 squares and attacks for free. So I think there's a lot of potential with this guy. Definitely you want to look at using him in sealed because those values alone make him useful in sealed. Even more so if you pull a President Osborne. Constructed, other people may not be looking at him as much, but he's in my fringe world of my enforcers and magia potential builds. I like him. I like the makeup of this figure.
All right, Jay?
I think he seems okay considering that the way that movement works, you can never really get away from him because it says when you move through a square adjacent to him, and you're also considered to have moved through the square you started in, so you can never get away from him. Either you die or he dies. One or the other.
Oh, yeah, Random Cowboy.
Yeah.
Dual target with the attack power is good. Really annoying to hit. If for sealed, it's like you will play him. Oh my god, I pulled him. I'm so happy I have him, sort of thing. But he's pretty good, even considering.
All right, awesome. Next up, Ox, Raymond Block, Underworld, team ability, 50 points, Earth X, enforces magia, animal, and politician keywords. New boss every week trait, Seeing Red trait, when Ox attacks a single opposing character, modifies attack and damage by +1 for each red power displayed on its dial. Oh boy! Bullheaded is a special movement power first thing. First 2, charge. When Ox uses it, you may choose not to have his speed value. If you do, he can only move in a direct path. Mike, you've already kind of sang the praises of this guy earlier. Jay, what do you think of Ox?
I was looking up the red powers, at least on top dial, because I was working on the Majestics primer, and there is a lot of red. So most likely you're getting at least the +1s, if not +2s or more. The trait's good to theoretically carry, and even if you are carrying and you can get that full movement charge, that's still 9 squares. It's hard enough to hit considering the points, and yeah, if you're attacking a red character, your worst attack value is a 10. So yeah, and knockback is always good. Oh, he also has he has super strength on top of the charge. He's doing. Yeah. Oh my god, that's pretty brutal.
Yep. So think of this idea, everybody. So, Ox, 50 points. Montana, 50 points. Fancy Dan, 30 points. 2 President Osborns, both at 50 points. Exospecs. We are at 242. Exospecs goes on one of the President Osborns so that they have TK. So they can TK Ox up a bit. After Fancy Dan has picked both Montana and Ox to do the free attack. Montana gets next to Ox. Ox charges 9, full move, carrying Fancy Dan with him with Underworld, makes an attack. Maybe you get lucky, it's someone with some red powers, He gets a really juicy attack, maybe not with an object because he's carrying.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, each of them can now have a free attack. And again, I've got President Osborne, who's picked both of them. So Fancy Dan could have a 12 attack, 3 damage. Ox could have a 12 attack, 4 damage, not including any of the red power boosts. And that's essentially 3 attacks with enforcers. What? And again, that's 242 points. So you still have 58 more points to put on that team.
Mike, I swear to God, if Enforcers becomes the new meta, I'm blaming you. Much like I blame Tom for Gotham City.
Well, that's why I'm putting it out there, because I have been fiddling around with this in my head for a while since I started seeing these figures come out, and I want someone to take that and make that even better. I want someone to do that. I mean, you can make it even grosser. You can just play 2 Montanas, right?
Double up on the Ox.
That's it. Double up on the Ox if you want. 1 Ox carries another Ox. Both Oxes charge and then attack afterwards. There's 4 attacks.
Yep.
Somebody do it, please.
All right. Next up, we have Clea, Miss Clea. That's a dated reference.
Cleo.
I see something in your future. That actually, wow. Mystic's team ability, 8 range, 2 targets, 100 points. Earth X and Mystical Keepers draw no attention to it. Orb of Agamotto, when Clea attacks, opposing characters can't use shape change. She ignores hindering for line of fire, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yeah, it's missing on here.
Yep. That's cool. So when she attacks, opposing characters can't use shape change. For Love and Knowledge, when a friendly character named Loki is within 4 squares in line of fire, both characters can use Precision Strike and deal 2 penetrating damage instead of 1. And when using the Mystic's team ability, special defense power in the last 3 clicks. Surprising Betrayal, defend. If a friendly character is hit when replacing its defense value with Clea's, damage dealt by that attack becomes unavoidable. And after resolutions, heal Clea equal to half the damage dealt. There's some kind of bubble orb team that I'm not making that might make effective use of her towards the late dial. But the other thing too is the character that you're is getting the defend from her and healing her up is got to be something you're sacrificing down because you're trying to keep Clea alive, so it's got to be less important. I'm kind of meh on this character as an overall figure myself. It's a neato kind of thing, but I just it like the fact that she's got phasing to start instead of the running shot, kind of me. But there's more work you can do with her in Constructed, I think, that makes her slightly better, but still doesn't shine to me. I don't know. She's good, but not great, I think. It's perfectly playable in Sealed. By all means, play this figure in Sealed. You'll do well enough. But I don't think she's super shining on me per se. I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about her. The only reason I would look at her in the Sealed environment is if you're thinking you're going to face off against some stealth figures and you want the outwit or something like that. Like, obviously that's effective to ignore hindering terrain and be able to outwit through stealth and not have to worry about it. But the 100 points, she just doesn't, I don't know, she just doesn't play right. Like, she just feels like more of a big target. Too much of a point investment for what it is that she's doing. And same thing for Constructed. It's like the points I'd have to invest in really building her up into something good, I would rather just play a figure that's already like 120 points or 130 points. So, yeah, I'm kind of a pass on her.
All right, Jay?
Yeah, just the fact that she has to phase and doesn't have it's just everything doesn't quite add up, and then she's a little overcosted, it feels like, or just appropriately costed enough as far as the competitive mindset goes. But I guess in Sealed, if this is your rare, it's not that bad considering that between the stealth busting and the next to no outwit protection in this set, except for the next figure, which is really bad. She's going to be outwitting everything in the set. Mm-hmm. So,
all right, we're getting a little late in the time, so we're going to try to speed up as best we can. Next up, we have Madam Hydra, Jennifer Walters' real name, Power Cosmic, 100 points, Earth X, and Hydra keywords. This is the way true peace is achieved once per turn when Madam Hydra hits. After resolutions, give each hit character an action token. You may then choose a hit character that can't use willpower and use mind control at no cost targeting that character. Special movement power in our first 4 clicks. We could be together always. Plasticity, sidestep, stealth. Special attack power in the last 3 clicks. You may speak with her voice, but you are not Jennifer. Poison, steal energy. Special defense power on everything but her first 2 clicks. Her influence is strongest up close. Energy, shield, deflection. Madam Hydra takes a maximum of 1 damage from attacks made by opposing characters within 3 squares. Mike, what do you think, Madam Hydra?
She's okay. There is a nice mid-dial combination of powers there where she actually has stealth, and she has that one where she takes a maximum of 1 damage within 3 squares, which means you're more likely to be stuck within 3 squares of her. But she just feels, I don't know, I look at her top dial and I feel like you're going to get hit and jump past everything that's good. A lot of point investment in something that's not going to quite work out. If you got lucky and sealed and pulled a lot of Hydra stuff, great. But yeah, I don't see the point of her, and I'm definitely not looking at her for my Hydra world in Constructed.
Jay?
If you see me playing this figure, something has gone terribly wrong.
If you see me playing this figure, I probably pulled President Osborn, using him with Fancy Dan, and I'm using the hired flunkies to feed to her mastermind to keep her alive. That's about all I can think. Like, the thing is, she's got that mid-dial slowdown, which was super frustrating to deal with, and people are going to commit to that. So, I mean, again, I don't see the superness of it, but I can see her dragging out a game, possibly just eking out wins as long as you have the 200 points or better figures than her. All right, next up, Manwolf. John Jameson, 50 points. Earth X animal monster. Keywords: blue area of the moon is his trait. Sidestep, knockback damage dealt to Manwolf is reduced to 0. He's got the special attack power in his last click. Power: deal 3 penetrating damage to an opposing character within 5 squares of the line of fire, then KO Manwolf. If that character is a giant or colossal, deal 5 penetrating instead. Jay, what do you think of Manwolf?
Pretty good swing for sealed. Good stats for sealed. All good for sealed. Constructed, probably not.
All right, Mike.
Ditto.
Yep, on the button right there. All right, Black Bolt. 8 range, 150 or 100 points. Earth X Inhumans, ruler keywords, Terrigenesis twice trait. Only one man can move that quietly. When Black Bolt has no action tokens, line of fires drawn to him are blocked. Special attack power in his last 2 clicks. Wound with a whisper, shatter with a scream. Pulse wave: when Black Bolt uses it, he can use ignore blocking, and you may instead choose a number 1 through 5 to be the range for the pulse wave. You don't have it and can't modify it. After resolutions, destroy all blocking terrain within that use of the pulse wave's range. He's just neat. And Black Bolt he's a tough dude. Getting on those last 2 clicks, you kind of going for a thoughts and prayers sort of situation on that. I'm probably more likely to take the risk on the 150 point version in sealed, unless I can really build a team with him at 100 points, but at the same time, the 100 points is 4 clicks in, which makes the Terrigenesis twice easier to trigger if you have the Perplex to use him. So, and you do have Perplex with him himself. So, ultimately, I think he's pretty good. He's super playable in sealed. I don't think he's going to be blowing faces off in Constructed. Mike?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing, though I would lean more towards him at the 100 points, probably in sealed. As always, it depends upon what else you pull, but I do like the idea that I have a better chance of pulling off Terrigenesis twice. He's got Perplex himself, so yeah, that's how I feel about it.
All right, Jay?
I don't like the 100 point line. I feel like it's way too soft, regardless of any stats you're going to get. Like, you're going to get hit, and for 100 points, he's 2-shot. It's and I like Hypersonic with the combo of the can't draw lines of fire to him, especially because when he's making that attack, you can't draw a line of fire of him still, so you can't prob him on that attack, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Next up, and Mike I know is a big fan of this figure at the very least, Triton. 100 or 75 points, Earth X Inhumans and animal keywords. He's a water character, he swims.
Super fast, though?
Yeah, super fast.
That goes both ways, though, right, Jay? That the line of fire means you also can't prob him with your friendly characters.
Yeah, the only one that could draw a line of fire to him is himself at that point.
Yeah. So, sorry, go ahead, Jay.
It's okay. Terrigenesis twice trait, Constricted Coils trait. When Triton hits an opposing character after resolutions, roll d6. On a 3-6, give a hit character an action token, and if that character occupies water terrain, deal them 1 penetrating damage. Special move power, charge, or hypersonic, but only if Triton occupies water terrain. Mike, what do you think of Triton?
I like him. I like him in both sealed and constructed. I think there's potential there. I like that he has animal keyword. I like him a little better again at 75 points because he has a chance of pulling off the Terrigenesis twice. And in fact, I've already built a bunch of teams around him, animal keyword, with that at 70 points. He's cool and neat. I want to play him on a water map. And constricting coils, pretty useful. It can really stymie some people. So cool figure.
Jay?
If I'm playing him in sealed, it's probably at 100 just to get maximum longevity out of him, because I feel like, again, lower is too soft, and I like charge, super strength, and stats that are good enough that you can just perplex other characters instead.
Yeah, I got effective use out of it. It's funny because when I played against Mike, it was the only game where Triton did not do what he was supposed to do. Every other game, he absolutely murdered things. And then I played against Mike, and it's like, well, okay, well, Triton's dead. But overall, I like this character a lot for sealed. I did play him at 100, and I would play him at 100 again in sealed, depending on what I pull, though. All right, we're in the super rares. Let's go to the final stretch. Lady Octopus, Caroline Trainer is a real name. Sinister Syndicate is a team ability, 4 range, 50 points. Sinister Syndicate and Scientist keywords. What you see is what you get, dial. She comes with the Octopus arms, which are a 10-point heavy object. Equip any unequipped drop, which gives giant reach, flurry, and ignores elevated and hindering for movement. Jay, what do you think of Lady Octopus and the Octopus arms?
For constructed, you're obviously playing the arms. For sealed, you might have her decision making whether or not to play her or the arms, but either way, you're going to get a lot of value out of it.
Okay, Mike.
I agree.
Yeah, that's 100%. It was funny because when we first saw this figure first, we were like, we got to see the Octopus arms to be sure. Then we saw it, it's like, yeah, good. All right, Green Goblin. Also comes with the Goblin Glider, heavy object, 8 points. Equip any unequipped drop. It gives flight, running shot. If the character is named Green Goblin or can already use running shot, this character can use hypersonic. 6 range, 2 targets, 75 or 50 points. Dark Avenger, Sinister Syndicate, Dark Thunderbolts, and Politician keyword. Indomitable on his defense. He can start with the Goblin Glider, like we said. Genius or Madness. If Green Goblins dial displays Outwit, friendly characters with the Sinister Syndicate keyword have protected Outwit. If Green Goblins dial displays Perplex, friendly characters with the Sinister Syndicate keyword have protected Perplex. He couldn't perplex himself. The Last Laugh is his last stop click defense power regeneration. Is also attached to that, Special damage power, impaled by the remote goblin control glider, free, KO a goblin glider, equipped to Green Goblin if you do modify attack +3, and make a range attack targeting a single opposing character that deals 3 penetrating damage instead of normal damage. If he misses, KO Green Goblin. Jay, thoughts on the Green Goblin? Oh, wait.
I played him in...
Yeah, I screwed up.
Huh?
Carry on.
I played him in sealed. He was good. Full Dial Hypersonic is good. If you happen to have Sinister Syndicate, other characters on that last click, he can be easily a 14 attack or whatever. Yeah, he did well. And the protected Outwit and whatever is theoretically really cool. Although the Perplex part could theoretically really screw yourself.
Yeah, I can see. That's what I was thinking too. But in Constructed, I can definitely see the Glider seeing more action than the Goblin. Mike, anything you want to add?
Yeah, no, you guys pretty much covered it. I think everybody is more excited for the Glider than they are actually for Goblin, to be fair.
And probably keeping with that theme, but we'll see. We next have Venom. Eddie Brock is a real name. Spider-Man enemy key team ability. I think that's supposed to be Sinister Syndicate, but yeah. All right. 4 range, 75 or 50 points. Maximum Carnage, Sinister Syndicate, Monster Reporter keywords. Improved movement, elevated hindering. Its signature equipment with the Venom symbiote, which is the 4-point. Equip any unequipped drop. Effect gives you plasticity, shape change, and this character breaks away automatically. Oddly enough, symbiote 2.0. Call him help from the Venomverse trait. Once per turn for all characters with this trait. When Venom hits an opposing character after resolution, you may roll a d6. On a 3 to 6, place another friendly character whose name includes Venom adjacent to Venom. Sinister 6 United trait as well. So in sealed. Mike, what do you think?
I think he's okay. Again, it'll be about whether or not you can activate that Sinister 6 United trait. I think you would want to look at playing him at 50 points as opposed to 75 points just because of the mirrored top click there and trying to activate that trait, personally. And I think, again, much like with Goblin, there's way more value in the object with this figure. I think that's what people are going to covet because, as we know, we'll be losing the symbiote when Superior Foes gets retired. And this is also a slightly cheaper one. And it's also one now that a figure can pick up and bring back to your starting area being a light object as opposed to the immobile object. So I think he's the least Venom that I've ever seen. I feel like you got a little ripped off a bit. But clearly we're going to want that object.
Yeah. Jay?
I mean, they literally ripped off his trait and made it an object. But
yeah.
Yeah, for Shield, he's probably fine. I'm already planning on playing the symbiote on Unseen with the Wakanda map bonus, so like me.
Jeez Louise, you guys are all poison.
Yeah, it's gonna be annoying. I need Tom to be here to flip a table about the 4-point symbiote because oh my god. Also, for now, double symbiote meta plus Venom harness is going to be nuts.
I also want to point out Tom has officially proven that he's the only one capable of exuding sarcasm clearly on text. All right, next up, Captain America Resilient. This is the title character for the set. Steve Rogers' real name, 4 range, 80 points. Avengers, Earth X, Shield, and Soldier keywords. A really solid dial as we get out of title characters. Continuity. When Captain America is KO'd, choose an opponent. Once per turn for the rest of the game, that opponent may force you to re-roll an attack roll. So that's if he dies. A journey, a failure, and redemption is a +1 ability. Free, move up to 1 square, then make a close attack. Fight against the slit. Is that specific to himself, or is that move a character?
No, it's move him.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. Oh yeah, sorry. It's never mind. Fight against Slavery of the Mind, +1, another +1 ability, free until your next turn. Friendly characters modify defense by +2 when targeted by mind control. Next, a gathering of those heroes left, +1 plot point again, free. Move each other friendly character 1 square. That's where I got confused. And then his -3, his ultimate, as it were. I'm sorry I failed you, but the war ends now. Power. Place Captain America Resilient into a square that is adjacent to both an opposing character and a square of hindering terrain or blocking terrain. Then give him a close attack. If Captain America Resilient KOs an opposing character with that attack, give him 3 plot points. He starts with 1 plot point. Jay, what do you think, Captain America Resilient?
These pluses feel like minuses. He's so good. I played him in Sealed, Earth X theme. He's never missing with a 12 attack. Perplex to give other characters better stats. Defend is good. The pluses are all really good. Where is that Soldier Taxi? We really need it. I guess Peace Machine until retirement, theoretically. But yeah, really fun and really effective. Probably second best title character ever.
All right. Mike?
Yeah, he's pretty good. I'm still gonna like the con exclusive one better. It's just me. I know I'm a crazy person, but he is pretty good. And obviously, there's something to be said for spending 3 plot points to get those 3 plot points back potentially. Rinse, repeat, kind of gross.
Mm-hmm.
Teleport anywhere on Underground seems good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. All right. These are out of order, but that's cool. 53A, Spider-Woman, Maddie Franklin, Spider-Man team ability, 4 range, 75 points, Spider-Man family, mystical keywords, superhuman subsonic speeds. At the beginning of your turn, roll d6. This character, this turn, positively modify speed by half the result. Venom Blast is a special attack power in the last 4 clicks. Poison, but deals damage even if moved or placed this turn. I love that. It's like Shredder Light. And defense power, Power of the Gathering of 5, toughness, energy, shield, deflection, willpower. Again, like I said, I like that. It's a shame that attack power is on the last 4 clicks because I like the idea of a spider, a Shredder Light, where it's like your toughness matters, but at the same time, I could make effective use of that ability per se. In general, but I like her. I just, like I said, wish she didn't have to take damage with the slightly light defense on the top to get to it. I don't know, Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, it would have been cooler if that power was top dial. It is nice that she could have a pretty solid hypersonic, right? She could have a 11 move hypersonic, which isn't so bad. But I don't know. At 75 points, she looks nice. Sealed, definitely I would consider playing her. But constructed, I think there's many other things that better fill the space of the 75 points.
Jay?
I kind of like that the power is buried in the dial because you can surprise push onto it after doing a hypersonic off click 2 or whatever. Okay. Sealed, she's probably fine, although you want to Sinister Syndicate or something her attack up a little bit. Yeah. I guess hard enough to hit. She hits hard enough. She's fine for Sealed. I don't think this is ever seeing constructed play of any kind. Yeah.
All right, next up, the Prime version of her, Maddie Franklin, Mystics, and Spider-Man are her team abilities. 80 points, 6 range, loner, Spider-Man family, armor, mystical keywords. Gaining the powers of Witter, Drew, Carpenter, and Madam Web is her trait. Free, choose a standard power printed on this card that Spider-Woman can't currently use. She can use that power until your next turn. And it's a very colorful dial so that you can get use of a lot of powers. She's good, indomitable, and flies. I think we covered this in a review earlier, and overall,
Yeah, she was previewed.
Yeah, like I know, Mike. What do you think? What do you think? Sorry.
She's a good figure. We can all see that. We can see the potential that she has. And I will say this: after playing against her on the weekend, and the fact that no matter what you do, she could just say, okay, I'm just going to pick Pulse Wave. It's kind of gross. I had actually completely surrounded her with figures and hired flunkies, and she Pulse Waved the whole crowd. So I think she's a cool figure. Lots of That's it. And Indomitable. Hey, Indomitable's great.
Yeah. Jay, anything you want to
add? Definitely a sealed play. But now that Exospecs exists, pick a power on dial feels a little bit worse unless you have like monster stats and other good stuff like Unimind. So I don't know about the constructed play, surprisingly enough, but maybe.
Yep. Okay. Next up, Unique Daredevil. Jeez. Okay, this is going to be a quick one. 60 points, Earth X, Celebrity Mystical Keywords. Ignores elevated and hindering for movement purposes. Can you kill the Daredevil when placing characters during game setup? Choose a starting line for Daredevil and give him 3 6 tokens. Jeez, I already did it. 3 6 tokens. When Daredevil is attacked, after resolutions, remove a 6 token for each 6 in the attack roll. If Daredevil has a 6 token when he would be KO'd, instead choose a starting line different from the one most recently chose and turn him to that click. Protected Pulse Wave. I hear that teaming up may be fatal. I'm game. Daredevil can't be chosen for Mastermind. Attacks made by Daredevil or by characters targeting him can't be re-rolled if the attack roll contains a 6. Protected Pulse Wave. Jay.
Probably the single best character in the set. You definitely play him in Sealed, Constructides, Don't Die, Mystical, maybe, Earth X, maybe, Celebrity. If we get a lot of celebrities in WWE, maybe.
Better.
I guess the only other thing to say is that you can prob into 6s against him, so that's good. And also, yay, random crit hits can't be rerolled. Right. Seems fun.
Mike?
Yeah, I think we've talked about him plenty. Everybody knows this.
We're sick of him by now.
Yeah.
All right, next up, the Hulk. 150 points, Earth X and monster keyword. It's a Hulk dial. He's also giant. The Hulk is an extension of me as a trait. At the beginning of the game, generate a Bruce bystander. As long as Bruce is on the map, when Hulk would be given an action token, you may instead give Hulk a soul token and don't clear his action tokens that turn. When Bruce is KO'd after resolutions, remove all Hulk's soul tokens and deal him 2 unavoidable damage for each removed token. Then he's got a special damage power on the entire dial. He is safe as long as I am out here. Battle Fury. If Hulk has 1 or more soul tokens, Hulk has protected Outwit. If Hulk has 3 or more soul tokens, he has protected Psychic Blast and Exploit Weakness. Bruce is a perplex token, basically all we see, and he's autonomous as well. It's a really cool Hulk. I think there's some potential in Constructed. It's a definite seal play. You pulled this guy, you play it in sealed. But like, don't expect it to automatically win. You do have to play the hell out of it. And I think there's something in Constructed that isn't straight out obvious, but there's a team that's going to be able to make effective use of him, and I think that just makes him even better, in my opinion. I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
Absolutely. I think you're definitely playing him in sealed. Why wouldn't you? I mean, look at this guy, 12 attack, so awesome. Yeah. 5 damage. You're going to put a soul token on him as soon as you possibly can to give him protected Outwit. Why wouldn't you? I think that there's lots of potential to make him have something good going in the constructed world. Monster keyword alone jumps right out at me again. Yep. I think this is a great figure, and wow, what a Hulk.
All right, Jay?
I played him in Sealed, and by the time he got auto KO'd because Bruce died, he had done more than his work. You can't go wrong with his ridiculous swing. You can theoretically never take tokens. Just protect Bruce, and don't fall for the trap of actually using Perplex. You keep Bruce as far to the back of the map as possible.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Iron Man, real name Tony Stark, 7 range, 125 points. Avengers, Earth X, Stark Industries, armor, robot, and scientist keywords. okay, this is a weird one. Anyway, Iron Avengers. The bystanders printed in this card are Iron Avengers. At the beginning of the game, generate 2 different Iron Avengers. Whenever an Iron Avenger is KO'd after resolutions, roll a d6. On a 1 to 2, deal Iron Man 1 unavoidable damage. Special attack power on the first 2 clicks. I have a mission for you. Power, generate an Iron Avenger that isn't already on the map. Leave it to a billionaire to buy the world some time. Stop, invincible. So this is on his 3rd click. This game, Iron Man can't be healed above this click. Then he's got special damage power on everything except his first 2 clicks, Iron Manner. When Iron Man hits the highest point opposing character on the map, after resolutions generate an Iron Avenger that isn't already on the map. The Iron Avengers are Monolith, Steel Bull, Sting. Okay, so flat, like right out of the gate, this guy is pretty interesting and pretty cool. The bystanders are strong enough to actually make up for the fact that I'm talking. Sorry, guys. I went right out. Mike, go. Sorry. I took the turn.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I went early.
Because I was just going to agree with everything you were going to say.
Yeah.
Anyways, an interesting guy calling out bystanders. We've already seen the potential of that. These are all indomitable bystanders, too. So that's pretty gross. They have potential there. Their damage output isn't huge, but so what? Again, it's somebody who comes out and can do stuff. One can be carried. The other 2 can carry. I mean, one of them is a colossal that flies as well. And a stop click is always something to be aware of, right? You can't just blow through this guy. So pretty cool, and definitely you want to look at him, play him in sealed. Why wouldn't you? Come on, get him on the map, pop out some Iron Avengers.
All right, Jay.
Yeah, it's pretty good in sealed, and the map the location bonus makes him a theoretical constructed consideration. Yeah.
Now, the map, does it add the bystanders that are specific to the map to his potential options on creating bystanders, or?
It basically it will need to be clarified, but like they're obviously not going to let this fly. Like it's supposed to work as it's supposed to work, regardless of any technicalities.
All right. I just didn't know if it has said, hey, these guys count as Iron Avengers for the purpose of Iron Man. All right, next up, mostly because I haven't seen the map in full yet. X51, I'm not reading that real name, even though I'm a coder. 75 points, Earth X, Cosmic, Herald, and Robot keywords, or Robo, as this one put it. To stop the Celestial Embryo is a straight. Whenever an opposing character with Colossal or Power Cosmic makes an attack, you may roll a d6. On a 2 to 5, modifies attack by -1. On a 6, modifies attack by -2. Special defense power on the 3rd to last click. I will not erase my emotional programming. Stop toughness. Special damage power on his last 3 clicks. Secret of the Elder Warrior race. Power Cosmic capability, range, aid, perplex, outwit, probability control. Jay, what do you think of X51?
Just no thank you.
No thanks. All right, Mike.
Yeah, totally. I have no interest in this figure.
Cool. All right, everybody's angry at him in sealed, and everybody's angry about him in constructed. Awesome. Next up, Loki. I'm not fully angry about the dude. I just I look at him and I say that's a lot of points to spend on a strictly support dude who is probably going to be not so great once he gets hit.
I'm mad if he takes up my super rare slot.
I'm mad. I'm real mad.
I'm mad.
He could have been a really cool second title character. Oh, wow.
All right. Next up, Loki, playable 150 or 125 with 8 range, 2 targets in the Mystic Steam ability, Asgardian, Earth X, Deity, and Mystical keywords. Bending the rules of reshaping reality is his trait. Free, roll d6. The resulting effect lasts until your next turn. On a 1, opposing characters modify defense by +1. 2, all characters can use phasing teleport. 3, each player chooses a character and the chosen character modifies all combat values by +1. 4, generate 4 blocking terrain markers, each within range and line of fire. At the beginning of your next turn, remove them. 5, friendly characters modify attack +1. 6, friendly characters modify all combat values by +1. The other trait is in the Minds of Mortals, which is traded, shape change, and stealth. Once per turn, when a character plus points within line of fire makes an attack, you may re-roll 1 die of that attack. Neat. He's neat. A fun Loki, as we see. As far as sealed is concerned, I hope I pulled Clea in one of my packs, just to, because of that torment that extra Mystics damage is worth. But overall, I'm like, he's one of those characters that's cool, good, but not changing the world, I think. I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
After facing off against him with Jay, don't underestimate him. that secondary trait of re-rolling one of the dice could really bite you in the ass. I don't really think I would be surprised to see him in Constructed. I don't think he quite has the makeup. Like, the traits are nice, but for his point value and everything, I don't think it's going to work out for you because he doesn't have a move and attack power, at least. It's like, for those points, he's like the tent pole that's not a tent pole. But definitely you want to consider him in sealed. And again, that trait could re-rolling dice like that. That hurt. That crit hit hurt.
Jay?
Yeah, sealed is good. I would not play him at the lower though. For Constructed, I think he's basically a no just because there's no way to get him willpower, but if there is a way to get him willpower for your Stegron, I will play it on Loki probably, maybe.
All right, cool. Excuse me. Next up, Medusa. We're almost there. We're almost at the chases, guys. We're gonna get through this.
Nobody cares about Gorgon. What?
Okay.
Oh, did I miss Gorgon? I missed Gorgon.
Yeah,
Sorry, my bad. My bad. Gorgon is, Gorgon's great. 125 or 75 points, Earth, X, and Humans, Animal, improved movement, hindering, destroys blocking, Terragenesis twice trait, butting heads, modified defense +2 when attacked by a character using charge or hypersonic speed, special movement power, bullheaded, charge. When Gorgon uses it, you may choose not to have a speed value. If you do, he can only move in a direct path. Trample and Gore, Quake. When Gorgon uses it and hits more than one character, choose a hit character and roll d6, increasing the damage dealt to that character by half the result. I think Mike's a fan. What do you think, Mike?
I like Gorgon. I mean, if you can pull off that Quake power with the extra damage, that could be pretty gross. And at 125 points, you can still fit him onto a pretty good Inhumans team. Animal keyword is nothing so bad. I like him. He's just like any other beat stick, though. Out with the defense power and rip through him. So yeah. he's got his regular downside, like every other figure like this has. But he's a fun Gorgon.
Big dumb fun.
Yep.
Jay?
For sealed, I would rather play him at full, but then I feel like I'm spending too many points, and then I mean, you're super rare, right? So you're probably playing him. It really depends. If I have some other perplex, I'm probably playing him at lower, I suppose, because it's Terragenesis. But
yeah. All right. Next up, Medusa. Terragenesis twice. Lethal locks. 3 range, 75 points, Earth X, Inhumans, Ruler keywords. Lethal locks gives her plasticity, giant reach of 3, telekinesis is free, but replace all 6s with 3 in the text of the power. Lockjaw's tuning fork is her special movement power, free, improved movement, ignores characters, elevated, hindering, and blocking. Passenger 2, but only to carry characters that share a keyword regardless of flight symbol, move up to 3 squares. Is that like a free part of that, or no, the whole thing is free. Never mind. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
So Jay, Medusa.
Basically 6 movement charge that ignores everything essentially overall. For sealed, seems pretty good if you have a way to up her values because there's 75 points. Yikes. I mean, again, super rare, so you kind of are probably playing it anyways, but I would really want some sort of perplex or whatever to go with her. But yeah, pretty cool. Pretty good sculpt. Pretty fine overall.
Mike?
Yeah, I think she's neat. She's got some interesting things going on there. I would love to see somebody take advantage of both the free TK and that free improved movement and pull off some shenanigans with that. Maybe something based around the ruler keyword, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I like her. I think she's a neat Medusa, and I look forward to trying her out on a couple of builds.
All right. I'm suddenly picturing her in Golden Age carrying alpha primitives.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, we're in the chase zone. So all of them have the alien symbiote trait, which is plasticity, shape change, venom, and that whatever this character is automatically breaks away. And they all have the column help from the Venomverse, which we saw on Venom. So that should help speed us up a bit. So we have the Venom Black Panther, real name T'Challa, 75 points, Avengers, Wakanda, Monster Ruler keywords. It's got another trait, At Home in the Shadows, Stealth. A special attack power and everything but its first and last class. I will use this weapon any way I can to defend my home. Blaze Claws, Fangs, Poison, Quake, Steel Energy. I mean, this is just... It's a chase... I think the chases, I'll go without saying, pretty safe to play them in sealed for the most part. And this one is just exceptionally beyond that because it also ignores elevated and hindering for movement and has stealth. I mean, just a solid pick, I think. In sealed, a little bit harder to justify in constructed, I think, but it's because there's so many of these Venoms, and you kind of want to strategically use them in specific ways. But it's not outside the realm of possibilities. I think that this Venom can be used in that. Mike.
Yeah, I think I would put him as tied for second in terms of my wants of the 6 Venom chases in this set. He's neat. He does a lot of cool stuff. Outwit is always great to have. And wow, that damage or that attack power of Blades, Poison, Quake, Steel Energy. Wow, good for you, Black Panther. You've come a long way. Wakanda forever.
Jay?
Yeah, I like him a lot. I am happy that I have him on the way. Casual, cool, sealed, good, constructed. But yeah.
All right. This one I'm in love with. Captain Venom. Steve Rogers' real name. 4 range, 75 points or 50 points. Avengers Monster Soldier. Indomitable. And then we have the straight Eddie, you're just the man we need. During game setup, when establishing theme teams, you may treat the monster keyword as a named keyword. Special damage power on the first 3 clicks if it's 75, or first click if it's 50. Leadership, when another friendly character with the monster keyword attacks, modifies attack by +1 if Captain Venom attacked this turn. So, Mike, what do you think of Captain Venom?
Most wanted chase, yes.
Yeah.
Most wanted figure in this set, yes.
Yeah.
he makes monster keyword named. Yeah. That alone with the leadership makes this figure so unbelievably worth the 50 points that you can play him at. I mean, that, in my personal opinion, I could be wrong, but that makes me salivate and oh my god, I got to get him in so many monster teams, and wow.
Jay?
Yeah, obviously good. Monster's good, all that stuff. It's going to feel weird playing at 50, but it is probably worth it for the competitive scene. And those stats are all really good on top of everything else if he does end up attacking. Although it seems unlikely when you have all the whales and all the retaliators to do that for you already.
Oh, man, yeah. And with Prob now. Like, as if Tyler Spees won without probability control, right? And Perplex on his team. Jeez Louise.
just think of Carnage's Colossal retaliating and popping out symbiotes, and then the Carnage can theme prob the symbiote when it attacks.
That's right.
Yikes.
Oh, all right. Next up, Venom Gwenpool. She's got a special defense power, Lethal Protectress. We're working on it. Energy shield deflection supersets as if Venom Gwenpool hasn't failed a shape change roll this turn. Adjacent friendly characters can use energy shield. She also got a special damage power on everything but her, on her second, third, and fourth clicks. This isn't canon. We can kill anyone. Exploit weakness. At the beginning of your turn, you may deal 1 penetrating damage to an adjacent opposing character or 1 unavoidable damage to an adjacent friendly character. If you do either, heal Venom Gwenpool 1 click. Jay, Venom Gwenpool.
Worth noting, she's missing improved movement, elevated hindering, and the next character is missing improved targeting, hindering.
Perfect.
For sealed, yeah, I played against her. She was really annoying. She helps the whole team prob stuff. She can eat hired flunkies.
She ate so many hired flunkies.
Yeah. I mean, she is automatically breaking your name theme because she doesn't have name keywords, but prob and sealed. And she's your chase. I don't see why you wouldn't want to play her chase.
Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, well, yep. I pulled her, and that's exactly why I played her, because she had prob. I wasn't making the theme. She made everybody better. She was really the only reason I actually somehow pulled out a win in that game against Jay. Definitely want to play her in sealed. I doubt I would ever play her in constructed. Again, she does a monster, so there is that small window, but at 100 points, no, I just feel like I'm probably spending that elsewhere. And again, if I've got Captain Venom, I don't need her to get prob because I've already making a monster team that's themed. So,
all right,
but definitely.
Next up, Venom Iron Man. 6 range, 2 targets, 100 points. Stark Industries armor monster. Special defense power on his last 3 clicks. Armored assault, combat reflexes, super senses, toughness. Like Jay said, this ignores hindering for line of fire. And special damage power on the first 3 clicks, targeting slow moving food. When Venom Iron Man attacks, modify all attack by +1 if all targets have 1 or more action tokens. When Venom Iron Man attacks, modify damage +1 if all targets have 2 action tokens. I'm less plussed by this one as far as the Venoms are concerned. This is not necessarily bad, but I'm just one of the ones I'm least excited about. I would play it in sealed. I don't see very many options for it in constructed myself, but that's kind of my opinion. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, he's my bottom chase out of all of them. I would want him the least. And stop it. Stop it.
Jay?
Yeah. Just stop.
This is the only chase that I would probably not add to my team automatically, just because might be better options depending on what else you pull, but probably still playing him. Yeah, it just feels a little soft to me. I don't know. Not that excited.
All right. Next up, Venom Rocket Raccoon. 6 range, 2 targets, 100 points. Guardians of the Galaxy monster keywords. For movement, ignores elevated and hindering. For targeting, destroys blocking. And he's got another trait outside of the alien symbiote called the Venomverse. I got better stuff in my arsenal. When Venom Rocket Raccoon, Jesus, such a mouthful, destroys 1 or more pieces of blocking terrain after resolutions, give him a rummage token, maximum 3. Free, remove any number of rummage tokens and choose attack, damage, or range. This turn, modify the chosen combat value by +1 for each token removed. Mike, what do you think of Venom Rocket Raccoon?
I like him for the potential of those rummage tokens because of the fact that his improved targeting will destroy the blocking, and then by destroying the blocking, we'll start to get him the rummage tokens. So if you can play him effectively on maybe like the office map and get some pot shots on some sort of easier targets early on to build up some rummage tokens, I think you could do a lot of fun stuff with him. Front-loaded outwit. Definitely you want to look at using this guy. Sealed, I think, again, if you're pulling a chase, you're probably playing it, and he's not a bad chase to be playing, Hypersonic Precision Strike. But he would be the second. He'd be 5th place on the top 6 chase figures there.
And Jay?
Nothing really to add here.
All right, cool. Next up, Venom Spider-Man. 75 points, Spider-Man family, monster keyword. Improved movement, ignores elevated and hindering. Special attack power on the first 3 clicks, rip and tear. Blaze Claw's fangs. When Venom Spider-Man uses it and the D6 roll was 5 or 6, after resolutions, move up to speed value and then make a close attack, targeting another opposing character. You can't use Blaze Claw's fangs during the second attack. Thank goodness. Special damage power on the last 3 clicks, indiscriminate appetite. Battle Fury, power, choose an adjacent character, friendly or opposing. If the target is friendly, deal them 1 unavoidable damage and heal Venom Spider-Man 1 click. If the target is opposing, make a close attack targeting them. If it hits after resolutions, deal them 2 penetrating damage and heal Venom Spider-Man 1 click. Jay, Venom Spider-Man.
Don't forget with the damage power, if you're attacking the opposing character, you're still dealing whatever your normal damage is. And also, for the attack power, I heard there was some sort of shenanigans about rerolling blades somewhere. Is that a thing? Somebody was saying to me?
Some place would forever or something. I don't know.
And super senses was it?
Oh man.
Oh my god.
I love this Spider-Man. I love him. Oh my god, this is the best part about this set, is that 3 times today I've said I love this Spider-Man. And here's another Spider-Man that I love. The fact that you can, in combination with Call and Help from the Spider-Verse, have somebody who does Call and Help from the Spider-Verse pull over this Spider-Man, have him attack. Maybe he rolls that 5 or 6 on Blades, moves, makes another attack, then he rolls Call and Help from the Venomverse and brings somebody else over. Oh my god, I love this guy. This guy's great. Oh my god, this guy's great. Love him.
All right, and I think that's the general consensus, Jay. Unless you're.
So what was that last part?
Are we in general consensus that this Spider-Man Venom is freaking awesome?
Yeah, I don't know if he's quite competitive, but as far as casual fun times goes, he is A++.
I think you almost offended Mike there.
I'm a little offended.
Yeah, I mean, he's no fat Spider-Man, but he's still pretty cool.
now he's trolling you.
He's no Spider-Man, but he's pretty good.
All right, and because it can happen, the Ultra Chase, Captain Marvel, Marvel, Power Cosmic, Team Ability, 7 range, 100 points, Avengers, Earth, X, Kree, and Cosmic keywords. What you see is what you get is on the dial. Improved targeting, ignores elevated, hindering, and destroys blocking. I need 3 years to fully return is first rate, once per game when Captain Marvel would be KO'd. Instead, give him 3 resurrection tokens and place him on this card. At the beginning of your turn, if Captain Marvel is on this card, remove a resurrection token. When the last one is removed, place Captain Marvel in any square along the edge of the map on click number 3. I'm coming back to save everyone as the second part of this trait. It's all kind of one continuous thing, but they split it up. When Captain Marvel is placed on the map by use of I need 3 years to fully return, all standard characters that were on starting force and were KO'd this game. They're very specific. On starting force, standard characters that were KO'd this game are placed on the map on their starting click this game and given a spirit token. Friendly characters are placed along the same edges of the map Captain Marvel is, and opposing characters on the opposite edge. Until the next turn, characters placed this way can't be attacked. This game, characters with spirit tokens can't be replaced, can't generate bystanders, and aren't scored. This game, when a character with a spirit token takes damage, remove it from the game immediately. Oh, there's a lot going on there. But this guy's more of a novelty than anything. He's 100 points to your team and unsealed. If you lose him, your other 200 points have to either survive. To get full effect, your 200 points has to almost die. But the idea that he could come back if you're still playing the game and just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Randy Orton RKO your opposing team could come in a nutshell. As far as sealed is concerned, I mean, on the off chance that you won the lottery and sealed it to him. And I think this guy is a high-end candidate for a Goblin Glider or Exospecs. Probably more towards a Goblin Glider because I think his power set is already pretty good. That's kind of where I sit on Captain Marvel. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered it. Neat novelty. I don't think anyone would be upset about pulling him in sealed. Like, it's an Ultra Chase.
Yeah.
Constructed, I think it's just too much situational whatever for what the chance of you ever pulling it off in a way that's going to help you. So yay, cool to get, looks neat. I have no intention of ever chasing it.
Mm-hmm. And Jay.
I mean, for sealed, you gotta play him, especially because he already has prob and Earth X and whatever. For constructed, I don't think the resurrection matters because I don't see it happening that he will KO and resurrect after all those 3 turns. So he's essentially don't die tech. But even absolute worst case scenario, everything on your team dies, including him. You still don't lose because he's not KO'd and he's still a character on your force. So even if literally everything on your team is KO'd, including him, you're still there. And you have just room to come back. And also, your characters that are resurrected get first strike, essentially. With the putting each other on the sides of the map and not the top and bottom of the map, you can probably get swing on them. So, basically, you either don't die tech, or he literally makes you not lose, and then you just revive, and then you have all the characters back. So, I think he's not super, super good. I think he's as competitively viable as an Ultra Chase should ever be. So, that's good.
All right. We made it, guys. We did it. That is Earth X in a nutshell. Overall, it's a pretty fun set. I understand, too, where we stand with this, and I got to be very specific. While we say some of these aren't at face value competitive, that just means the team that they work in either hasn't been created yet or may not ever exist, but it's not necessarily that there's no team for some of these things we don't see viable. Timing does make a factor on that. Just so that, you know, when somebody says, hey, this character made it into competitive, you can say it was crap. Well, we did at the time. Because something obvious didn't kick out to us. Anyway, I'm kind of excited for the set, both on casual and just adding to the game in general level. What about you, Mike?
Sorry, it was muted for a second there. Yeah, no, I'm excited for the set. We mentioned it before. I like Spider-Man characters, so very heavy sub-theme of Spider-Man, especially Spider-Man villains, which I like. What I have found so far in my pre-release games is I find that the set feels relatively balanced for constructed. I haven't really seen anybody pull anything and just run away with it. It's not to say that there aren't figures in the set that can pull off some pretty nasty things, like that Prime Vulture, but it feels mostly balanced and something that I actually look forward to using in a sealed environment, because I know that like I've had multiple events where I've pulled nothing better than a rare, and I've gone like I've only lost 1 out of 9 games I played in sealed for this set. So it feels balanced. It feels like you can always make something that can do something. I like the characters, and yeah, I'm excited.
And Jay?
I've never pulled below at least 1 super rare, so my experience may vary later when I pull garbage, but I've had a lot of fun.
Honestly, I think the only place I see this set being problematic as far as a not constructed, in a sealed level, is on Battle Royales, because there was one pack we pulled when we were doing our unboxing that I think our rare was Manwolf, and he was also one of the highest point characters in the pack. So there's a high level volatility for Battle Royales. Not a big consideration. That's a side event sort of situation. Just kind of an observation. All right, so we move on to questions. If you want to join us at patreon.com/madeforclicks, do so. We do appreciate any support, and we just had our patron hangout this past Sunday. But if you are a patron and you got the link, we are opening up the lines for you guys to come in and ask your questions. That's that signal, as it were, that I mentioned, if you guys are still awake, for that matter, or interested. But we have one question on Facebook here, where Michael Fedor says, so we're going to have a Tom graphic breakdown of the new set. Tom's charts might be coming. I don't know. Tom's having a harder time doing them than he used to, because his job, much like mine, actually became important and the work became worth doing. So I wouldn't count on that. But we now move into the chat, because that was the only one that was asked on Facebook. So there's not a great deal number of questions. But in the live chat, Ricky Yell has 2 questions. The first one, was that the most boring Super Bowl ever? Didn't watch it. I was watching Ghostbusters with my kids. What about you, Mike?
I did not watch it.
Jay?
The football went real far, I think.
All right, so we're not sports ball watchers, guys. Sorry. You know what? The WWE halftime heat was awesome. That was a great match. Haven't done that one in a long time. All right. But his next question, will the Spear Force of Spider-Man thugs be joining Enforcers on HeroClix maps near you? Maybe. I don't... it depends, because the Enforcers are pretty good at making their numbers as it is. Mike, you've been looking at the team a lot more than I have. What do you think?
I've thought about it as an option to put it in there. You have to always look at them. I mean, they're 10 points and they help you sort of fill in the space need be. But as it is right now, I have not been including them, mostly because I'm kind of getting into that point zone and I'm trying to use that for IDs and objects.
All right, and Jay?
I have not been looking.
All right, cool. Next up, Nolan Lake. He wants to know the rose with the magic mirror from the Mighty Thor set. Jay?
I don't like the mirror on principle, because I know I will roll it and it will get broken, and also he already has the shape change, so it feels redundant.
Fair enough. All right. The Rock versus Mankind, greatest halftime show ever. Correct, Rick. That was the greatest. But I don't know. This new one was pretty damn good. NXT guys are really good at wrestling. All right. So I'm going to give it a couple more seconds for those call-ins. If you're going to do it, guys, do it now. But in the meantime, I'm going to take a second to thank our sponsors over at MajesticCCG.com/Insiders. $3 a month. Great brain dumps from great brains in the games of HeroClix. I'll make you a better player overall. Also, check out MajesticCCG.com for regular articles from players like Jay or myself, who do occasionally put out articles. Jay is big on the Fringe articles, and he also does sealed primers for them as well. I do really weird thought pieces or nonsense as it is. I'm actually going to be doing a whole piece on the Everyman format and kind of my motivations and introduction to it, because he wanted to check that out, and I'm just having a hard time finding the time to write it, especially when I'm doing piece by piece reviews until midnight. Mike's giving me that thing like, let's just, But yeah, that's about it. Piece by piece, Earth X is going to be a fun set. Looking forward to it. Get those pieces. They come out this Wednesday, so get them in your house. Get some teams together. Get some practice games in with them. Because, guys, with these teams, practice is going to make your teams much better. Have a good evening, everyone.